The numbers told the story. They always do.
It's one of those idiots who believe in analytics.
This is a numbers game with Gill Alexander on VSiN.
Good Monday morning to you. It is a numbers game at VSiN, the sports betting network, VSiN.com, Game Plus, iHeartRadio, YouTube TV, and of course, Sirius XM channel 158. It's Gill Alexander. That right there is my little buddy Kelley Bydlon, everybody.
Hey, how we doing?
Doing very well. What a weekend. What an extended weekend. Hope you had a safe and healthy and very stomach-filling Thanksgiving. I think that's what you say after Thanksgiving.
Yes.
And now we transition into the Merry Christmas mode, the Happy Holidays mode of things. Beyond that. But there is so much to discuss on this show. Week 14 guessing lines about to happen. Week 14, Kelley, it's December.
How did it happen already? How's it December already?
How did it happen? I can't believe it's week 14. That's what Will says, like every couple of weeks.
I say it every month.
It's week 6.
Every month in the fall. I'm like, how's it October already? How's it November?
Week 14, guessing lines coming up, looking to extract value. We went pretty well on that last week in terms of our results and initial reactions. The one that didn't get home for me was Detroit, but Cincinnati did, Seattle did. So we'll go through that exercise. I haven't seen the lines. Kelley will tell me what they are within that exercise. We recap. We look at things. Also got to talk about college football, the disaster scenario of college football. Lane Kiffin we got to talk about. 2-point conversions we got to talk about. A whole bunch of things. But we start, as we always do, Kelley, with a little Survivor update, Circus Survivor update, the greatest contest there ever was. And by the way, shout out to Derek Stevens and the Circa family. They have started in Missouri as of today.
That's right. Yeah, beautiful live shot of Derek this morning on By the Books from Missouri.
There you go. Shout out to those guys. Circa Survivor. First of all, let's talk about Grandissimo. Grandissimo, which we haven't talked about nearly as much, but for those who are aware, $100,000 entry. There were 69 entries in the end this year. I had set the over-under at 30.5, I think, before the season started.
Pretty sure I took the under.
Yeah, got to 69, so it's, $6.9 million pool. And in the end, 6 entries split. After 3 were on the Ravens, 3 were on the Eagles in their Thanksgiving quirk in that contest as well. Obviously, both Ravens and Eagles lose. So those 6 entries split the $6.9 million. That's $1.15 million per entry. Per each of those 6. Congratulations to our buddy Michael Craig.
Yes.
He
was one of them. That's right.
He was part of one of the guys that got it to the end here, the end in quotes of that contest. Zach White, Lil Zach, had himself an entry too. So it does show you that in Survivor, while, as we'll get into momentarily, so much of this is just the universe casting, light on you and you're just being in good fortune. And maybe some good bettors know a little something too. And so they get to the end on that. Congratulations to them. As far as Circa Survivor Classic, oh man. We are down to 45 headed into tonight. We are down to 45. Remember, there's a Thanksgiving week, right? Thursday and Friday act as its own week, and then Sunday, Monday act as its own week. Only 4 entries lost. Yesterday, those were all on the Rams losing to the Seahawks. But in case you missed it, right? The Ravens and Eagles losses and the Chiefs losses on Thanksgiving Day and then Friday right afterward, Black Friday. I think there was also a few losses there on the Lions too, but that was obviously negligible. But 489 of the remaining 898, remember 2 didn't submit, so it was 489 over 54. It was 54.3% of the remaining entries were on the Eagles. 29.9% of them were on the Ravens. 8.7% on the Chiefs, all gone. There's the 1.4% on the Lions. That those 4 games alone, Kelley, 94.56% of the remaining entries got bounced.
See ya.
Not only is it the most carnage ever on a Thanksgiving week, it is the most carnage on any week in the history of Circa Survivor ever. 94.56%. And it was just in the 4 games. I guess the percentage would rise with fewer games if those weren't to go the way of the contestants. And, of course, with 4 upsets happening, there you go. So it went from 900 after the 2 non-submissions to 898, and then all the way down to 49, and now 45. And so if you look at the history of Circa Survivor in terms of where we are year to year, now this year's is actually by a tick the most gone percentage-wise in the history of Circa Survivor to this point. We just eclipsed last year. Amazing. 99.76% gone from this year in Circa Survivor. So the actual intrinsic value of each now, the remaining 45, there is one on the Patriots tonight, so that's pending. But right now, as of this moment, $415,955.56.
This is such a great, you've been doing a great job of tracking all these all year long. But you get to this point, and this is why we make such a big deal before the season, early season, right? What you got to do leading up to Thanksgiving and then planning for Thanksgiving. Because if you're just watching that at home, see it on our graphic. I mean, it's over 99% the past 3 years.
Yeah.
And you're talking around that level for the past 5 years.
And I just want to say this. So repeatedly last week, I think I probably said it 4 times, right, over the course of the week. I said to folks, and I hearkened it back to 2021 when the Cowboys were huge favorites over the Raiders, and Jeff Parlay, the Grover Cleveland producers, was my producer at the time. And I did the thought exercise with him. I said, Jeff, if you knew that 99 of our remaining 100 were going to be on the Cowboys, would you, as the 100th, if you knew that information, would you take the Raiders? He goes, I don't know. And I said, Jeff, you have to take the Raiders. It'd be your obligation because, of course, how many times in life do you get a chance to win $6 million, whatever it was at that time? And so I related it to the Eagles going into this Thanksgiving that, no, you don't know exactly the percentage that's going to be on that team. But if you can guess it, I guessed at 67%, it ended up being 54%. Mm-hmm. What's your threshold for when it is your obligation to play the other side? In this case, the Chicago Bears. And I hope that some people listen to it. And I know, based on Twitter, that some did. And some listened to it, and they have catapulted into the final 45 in Circa, in the final group in DraftKings. And so I'm pumped that some people followed that advice. Because that's what makes this contest so amazing, is that on the one hand, there is so much luck involved, so much of it. And I hope, by the way, on a side note on that, I hope people realize now, and now that we're all sort of out of it except for those 45, and congratulations to those 45 entries, those who control those 45 entries. But I hope now that the people who got knocked out this weekend versus those of us who got knocked out on that Cardinals loss, with Demarcado throwing it up before he crossed the goal line, same game, they picked the ball, then they fumbled, and Tennessee ran it back for a touchdown. I couldn't help but notice that those who get past that somehow think they're better at the game than you are. You're not, right? You're just not. It's just that the universe frowned on you just a little later. And there was nothing bad beatish about either the Eagles or the Ravens. They're just bad picks in the end, right? Everybody saved their picks for just bad picks. That's just how it is. Those are the vagaries of the game. But then you do have to apply selectively the skill of having the onions to go in when you can. When there's a game, when there's a plus EV moment in the game to catapult forward, you have to be willing to fall on your sword. And I hope some did listen and go with the Chicago Bears, and they are the better for it. And that's the thing. By the way, the other way to look at that, Kelley, is let's look at it another way. If you picked Philly, right, and then you watched the Bengals beat the Ravens on Thursday, overnight Thursday to Friday, you were already locked into your Philly pick. At that point, after the Bengals beat the Ravens, your pick on Philly became a massively minus EV bet, minus EV pick. Now, we'll say this also just from the preseason standpoint. By the way, this is what makes this game so incredible. We will get to guessing lines. But, I'm sort of famous for saying, and I probably have to rethink my position on this a little bit. I've said before every year, I think those that max out entries, I think there's a point of redundancy, I've said. That's the phrase, right? Where I said, I only get 6 because I think my behavior just becomes proportional at that point. Right? So if I'm going to distribute them 2-2-2, I would distribute those 3-3-4 or something like that, right? So in the end, I'm only playing one optimally. But I think what I have to rethink is, while I'm correct about that behavior, what I need to sort of acknowledge is that the NFL, the plinko nature of the NFL, the vagaries of the NFL itself, the fact that anybody truly, no matter the underdog, right? Again, I lost on a 17-point favorite in 2020, a home favorite, that the NFL has become so unbelievably ridiculous that maxing almost trumps the point of redundancy argument. Because in the end, remember when our buddy Tony Farmer, who does such a great job with Last Men podcast and Tony's Market Tips on Twitter, he was power ranking the remaining entries the other day. And I said to him, I go, because the number 1 and 2 that he had, I go, let me ask, is there a number attached to those entry names? He goes, oh, yeah, one of them's this 8 or this 3 or whatever. And I go, that tells me, right, that those are just the random result of whatever thinking and machinations that person did with all of their 10 entries or 8 entries or whatever it was, that those just happen to be the entries that got through based on sheer infinite amounts of paths that could have happened in the league week by week by week. I see it with my own entries, right? I see that oftentimes when I have 6 or 7, I will think through, and the one that's last standing didn't happen this year because they all got knocked out the same way. But that the last one standing just happens by sheer circumstance to be the one that ended up with the best path. And so maybe I need to rethink that while I'm right about a point of redundancy, the sheer randomness of the sport itself and the game itself means that maxing trumps that.
I guess that's what I was going to say. Is it means you need to, like, I think your breakdown of yourself is correct, right? Because I'm pretty similar with it. If you're going to be that redundant on picks, then yeah, maybe you don't need to be playing that much. But it means you're going to be more open to spreading things out if you're going to fire on more entries.
I know folks who wanted to go opposite sides on Christmas. And they figured they could get through Thanksgiving, but it wouldn't allow them to get that far, right? Because that's the ultimate, to be able to sacrifice during these Thanksgiving and Christmas squirks. Coming back.
A numbers game on VSiN, the sports betting network.
Not a VSiN Pro subscriber yet? This is your best chance. Our Black Friday special still live. And for just $60, you get full VSiN Pro access to everything we offer all the way through May 1st. That includes daily best bets from VSiN hosted guests, real-time betting splits from DraftKings, Circa, and Bracco, AI-powered prop tools, and weekly wide receiver cornerback matchup edges, 24/7 video and replays on the VSiN Watch app, coverage of every major sport through the spring, from football and hoops to March Madness, the NFL Draft, and the Masters. Our biggest new subscriber offer of the year is here. Don't wait. Go to VSiN.com/subscribe now. That's VSIN.com/subscribe. We get tweets at Beating the Book. You okay, Kelley? You having a good morning? You're right? Good weekend for you?
I'm going to call it a Cyber Monday special.
As opposed to Black Friday?
Yeah.
I was going to say, we should probably update that.
I feel like that works a little better. Yeah.
This is from Jared Still, Jared Still 2. The man himself, Gill, insinuated all week that Survivor players might be wise to ride with the Bears. This is why. And he's partly clairvoyant. I don't know about that. But it was the plus EV play. Good. I'm glad you did, Jared. Good on you for getting through. This is from, let's see, let me intersperse some here as well. This is from a disc golfer. Best BOL let you talk about bet online. Wager on the internet. Let you change picks up until kickoff. Gill helped convince me, as well as friends who did the math, to switch to the Bears since 55% were on the Eagles. Lifesavers. Man, I'm glad to hear that. So I guess he was on a bet online contest. RB Treff at Bob C-137. Does BetOnline have the Thanksgiving Christmas quirk? I'm on Splash, and they don't, but next year I'd like to be in a contest that mimics Circa with few entries. Got myself through with the Bengals and a couple, also using analysis from Gill on a numbers game. Glad to hear that as well. And then I think there's, let's see here, this one more. Oh, this one says the same thing. That he says, if only they listened to your show. Luke, walk it out. I hope they did on that anyway. And then the Megapod. I don't know if you know this, Kelley, but a little someone I like to call Brent Musburger was on the Megapod this past week.
Always so good.
Dan Groeschel. This week's Megapod was perfect. It felt like a family holiday get-together where all the kids gathered around Uncle Brent to hear all the good stories from way back when. When Brent Musburger talks, it's always worth a listen or 3. It was awesome. We went back into his play-by-play history, some of his greatest moments, Suns Celtics, 1976, the Boston College Flutie pass. He talked about all that. From Nate Green, got around to listening to the pod traveling this weekend. I contend that the 10 to 15 minutes of Uncle Brent telling stories about games he called were the greatest 10 to 15 minutes in podcasting history. Well done, lads. It's very nice of you to say. Again, just an honor to have Brent on. And even the 3 of us, Todd, Will, and I afterwards, without even Brent around, we just sort of we just sort of look at each other like, tell me how cool that is.
It's incredible. It's incredible.
And my 8-year-old self, my head would have exploded off my body.
Yeah, and you and I are lucky to have been a part of it for years now, but it's also another one of those. Look, Brent Musburger is such a big reason of why I met VSiN, having met him in person in South Florida. And Brent Musburger is the same. I think if you could say this about anybody in our business, it's one of the highest compliments. He is the same guy off air, on a podcast, on your show. He's going to tell you the same types of stories, the same types of way, and he makes you feel very special for being there listening to it.
Bob C-137 adds, Commandos almost defeat Broncos and the officials. It's not one of them, but that crew really gave the conspiracy theorist a lot to talk about. NFL give all officials a $10,000 annual raise, and they do press conferences after games. Compensated accountability. This is from Enright, Stephen Enright. As an Ole Miss alumni, I forgot that Lane was just a friend with benefits. Never the marrying type. LOL, we forgot. 6 years is a long time. Andy V. Oh, we'll get to Lane. Andy V. Can any of you explain to me Christian McCaffrey, Offensive Player of the Year number right now? He leads the NFL in yards from scrimmage. He should easily get to 2,000. He has 0 weather games ahead of him. His team should easily get to 11 wins. Titans next. 25-1 seems ludicrous. I agree, Andy V. It really does. Shall we do it?
They're saying Jonathan Taylor, JSN, it's down between the two of them. Minus 125 on Jonathan Taylor, DraftKings, even money on JSN, 14-1 on Christian McCaffrey.
All right,
He's not out of it, though.
Let's get into it. Guessing lines, Week 14 in the National Football League. Oh, yeah.
A big one, Gill.
Yes.
Cowboys at the Lions. The unstoppable Dallas Cowboys.
Thursday night football. The 6-5-1 Cowboys coming off that win over the Chiefs on Thanksgiving. At the Lions coming off that loss to the Packers on Thanksgiving. 7-5 are the Lions. So it's not an elimination game by law, right? Not a true mathematical elimination game, but it sure kind of feels elimination-ish. At least if the Cowboys lose, it does to a degree, right? A little bit of that, though not really. Again, because the Eagles are stumbling in that division. By the way, Kelley, you put this up on the website. While the Eagles were playing the Bears on Friday, I bet the Cowboys 10-1 to win the NFC East. You did as well?
Yeah,
in the
I
moment?
got in at 9. It's 7-1. Yeah, it was funny when you texted that because I was sitting there that whole first half. I'm like, this team's falling apart. They're falling apart.
Yeah.
Is there a way we could bet against them? Other than, you text. Whenever you texted, I was like, yep, I think I'm joining you on that.
Dak, 27 of 39 for 320 in that win over the Chiefs. CeeDee Lamb, 7 catches for 112 and a touchdown. 457 total yards for the Cowboys. Detroit Goff, 20 of 26 for 256 in defeat. Jamison Williams was awesome, 7 for 144 and a touchdown. I will say Detroit -3 on Thursday Night Football.
Yep, this is pretty much 3 everywhere. We did have some 3.5s when this first opened up, but we are 3 across the board right now.
All right, let's go to Sunday.
All right, Sunday, morning early window, Seahawks at Falcons.
Seahawks at the Falcons. Seahawks coming off a nice win, nice cover over the Max Brosmer-led Vikings. Oh, boy.
Games don't get any better than that one, Gill Alexander. Whew.
Whole bunch of 3-and-outs and punts early. 3-0 Seahawks. This is about, let's say, this is the 4th time they had the football. They're up 3-0. First play for the Seahawks. 1st and 10, their own 22. Darnold sacked by Dallas Turner. He fumbles. Jalen Redmond recovered. Minnesota set up at the Seattle 13. 4th and 1 at the Seattle 4. Brosmer back to pass, running for his life. Chased by DeMarcus Lawrence. He just heaves it while going down. Just
so beautiful. So beautiful.
Let me just throw this up and see what happens. Right to Ernest Jones. 85 yards to pay dirt. 10-0 Seahawks. 2:59 left in the second quarter. It would be 13-0 after a Myers 56-yard field goal at the half. Then Myers would casually add a 54-yard field goal to make it 16-0 Seahawks early third quarter. And it was just a comedy. Minnesota, 3rd and 14 at the Seattle 43. Brosmer to Aaron Jones. Ball punched out by Lawrence. Recovered by Ty Okada. That would lead to another Myers field goal, 19-0. Then Minnesota, 1st and 10 at the Seattle 45. Brosmer throws high, picked by Kobe Bryant. Next time Minnesota had the ball, second play, 2nd and 6. Brosmer picked off a deflection by Ernest Jones again. Seattle set up at the Minnesota 32, 4th and 1 at the Minnesota 23. Darnold to Barner for 2. 2 plays later, Charbonnet in from 17, 26-0 with 9:11 left. Next time Minnesota had the ball, 2nd and 6 at the Seattle 28. Brosmer picked by Reek Woolen. Returns at 30 yards, stuck by Jalen Naylor, fumbles recovered by Naylor. Minnesota back at the 37 after a hold, end up 4th and 13 at the Seattle 40. Brosmer sacked by Drake Thomas. That is your ball game. Just a rout. And yes, to the question of, is Brosmer a downgrade from J.J. McCarthy? Probably so in the end.
Beautiful game, Gill. That was
fantastic.
I got
for those of us who had Seattle.
Yeah, I got one more teaser leg tied into that with the Patriots tonight. But oh boy, this could be my biggest week of the year. Probably will be my biggest week of the year. I played a little shutout. Seahawks to win in a shutout too. Got that home.
Did you really?
Yeah,
nice.
man. I piled on this game, so that was a good result.
This game and the Buffalo under in games were awesome.
Yeah. And it was
games.
like, I don't know, it was concerning early, right, that the Seahawks couldn't get anything going. But also, you hit a point in the second, third quarter. They're kicking field goals. I don't know about you. I had no problem with it. Go ahead, kick field goals. They know every time they can add points. Yep. Minnesota just can't do anything offensively.
Who'd you say Seattle was playing?
Seattle at the Falcons.
Falcons lose to the Jets. You see this game?
Oh yeah.
This is in the first half. Jets, second time they had the ball, they punt, but Jamal Agnew muffed it, recovered by Quantez Stiggers. Set up at the 2, Brees in from 2 outs, 7-0 Jetropolitans. Early second quarter. Atlanta, a couple drives later from their own 38 with 3:10 left in the quarter. 10 plays, 62 yards. Bijan for 16 to start. Algerian from 1 to end it. We're tied at 7 at the half. Exciting, right? Trying to make it exciting.
Oh, yeah.
Third quarter. Atlanta, first possession, 8 plays, 95 yards. Cousin to Bijan for 42. Mostly yak. Roughing the passer, tacked on 3 plays later. Bijan in from 5, 14-7. Falcons, 9:36 left in the third quarter. Jets respond. 2 plays, 65 yards. Tyrod to Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. From 52 out, 14 all, 8:58 left in the third quarter. Then Atlanta, Gonzalez misses a 50-yard field goal try. Folk comes back. He misses his first kick of the season, field goal or extra point, short and right on a 55-yard try. Then Atlanta does get a Gonzalez field goal to make it 17-14 Falcons. Then the Jets, Isaiah Williams takes the ensuing kickoff, 83 yards. Jets set up at the Atlanta 15, but they have to settle for a Folk field goal. It's 17-17, early third quarter. Then Atlanta, 8 plays, 74 yards. Cousins to Algier for 31, the big play. 3 plays later, Cousins to David Sills, the hit from 9 out. 24-17 Falcons, 8:46 left. Jets respond, 15 plays, 65 yards. 4th and 1 at the Atlanta 11. Tyrod for 2. 2 plays later, Tyrod in from 10. We're tied at 24 with 1:53 left. 1:53 left, Kelley. And we still had enough time for an Atlanta 3 and out, a Jets 3 and out. Atlanta then from their own 33 with 57 seconds left. 3 and out, where they went incomplete, so the Jets didn't have to use either of their 2 timeouts. Then the Jets from their own 43 with 35 seconds left, both remaining timeouts, so they used both on the way to a 1st and 10 to the Atlanta 33 with 12 seconds left. But a false start still. Folk, 56-yard field goal, line drive inside the bottom left corner of the goalpost. Good. Jets win 27-24. Seattle minus 8.5 at Atlanta.
Anywhere 7.5 to 8.5 on the board for Seattle.
That makes sense.
Teaser legs for me again, Gill. Let's go.
Coming back, looking for value, Week 14 in the National Football League.
A numbers game on VSiN, the sports betting network.
Ready to boost your bankroll? Brocco's giving new depositors a 50% purchase bonus. Just use promo code VSiN when you sign up. Brocco's lines are live on our VSiN betting splits page. See where the action's moving before you bet. Turn your bonus into an edge with insight that matters. Go to Play Brocco. That's BRACCO. PlayBrocco.com today and use promo code VSiN. It's Gill Alexander. We get tweets of beating the book. Fred Courier. Did I miss this? Use the 100,000 if lost on the Eagles, and knowing if Ravens lose, I get the chop. I would have at least placed money line on Bengals to cover the 100K. Not sure I followed that on the fly, but yes. Did people who played one side, then could they manipulate it and try to lock in profit? I don't know if you're talking about Grandissimo or the actual Circus Survivor Classic. Yes, I'm sure there were things that people did outside of the contest itself. Maybe they did, maybe they didn't, because we talked a little, you and I, about this last week, where we were like, well, if we were in it, like in the Grandissimo case, if you knew that you had one of your entries in it, would you monetize? Would you take the pains to do so? Maybe at 100,000 you would. But if you were in Circus Survivor, would you have? Probably not. The actual class.
Grandissimo, I would have been calling everybody I knew and scrambling to, try to get as much down as I could. Yeah, but we talked about it.
Yep.
Survivor, unfortunately, just like a lot of people we know, I would have just been done and out with the Eagles, and I would have not done anything about that.
Bainbridge DeWeese. I bet Cowboys to win the Super Bowl at 150-1 right after the Kansas City win. Thursday sure feels like an elimination game to me. He's talking about the Lions and the Cowboys. And then Scott, New York Mets 16. Oh, this is a great stat here. For those of you who are like, God, were those afternoon games, those 3 games in the afternoon, just a disaster. Great afternoon slate, he said, with total yards for the 3 losing teams, 156, 162, and 166, and 8 total turnovers.
Yeah, it was
talking
bad.
about the Vikings, Steelers, and who was the third? The Vikings, Steelers, and, of course, the...
And now I'm blanking.
Yeah, I'm blanking. Who was the other game? What was the third game? Can't remember.
Steelers.
Okay. 8 total turnovers.
Raiders.
No. And the Raiders.
Raiders,
correct.
Chargers, yeah.
And the Raiders, of course. How could we forget the Raiders? All right, what's next?
I don't know about you, but I actually barely had that game on. I had the other 2 big on the big screens because I was heavy on the Seahawks and I was on the Bills.
Oh, by the way, Ace Dick Cardano on Twitter. How Todd acted when Brent brought up the Flutie play is all of us. Touchdown, Boston College is one of my first memories in life. Todd was like a little kid with Brent. As soon as Todd asked, what was your favorite play-by-play? The first thing that Brent talked about was, of course, the miracle, the Doug Flutie miracle to Gerard Phelan, Boston College over Miami. And Brent was talking about how he didn't even know who caught the ball and all that. And before he could even tell the story, Todd, like a little kid, is like, oh, my God, I can't believe you said that. I was going to guess that myself. I was like, okay. That's great. All right.
Oh, man. All right. Early window still. Bengals at the Bills.
Speaking of the Bengals, did we speak of the Bengals yet?
Bengals
beat
Bills.
Bengals cover for us and win outright. Beat the Ravens 4-8. The Bengals are, and they're looking up at the top of the division. And both the Steelers and the Ravens are 6-6, and they got games against both of them coming up.
Oh, it would suck.
Man, oh man, Burrow 24 of 46 for 261. Man, he was in complete control. He was like, you hear him counting down the play clock when he's at the line of scrimmage? Guys, we had plenty of time. 7, 6, just doing that the whole game. Jamar, 7 for 110. The Bengals were +4 in turnovers, though. Let's be serious. Time of possession, 38-46 to 21-14. Buffalo beats the Steelers, one of those 3 miserable afternoon games, unless you were betting. And then things really went your way if you were on the under, if you were on the Bills in the end. 3rd and 9 of the Pittsburgh 42, first drive of the game for Buffalo against Pittsburgh. Josh Allen picked by Brandon Eccles, who stepped in front of Keenan Allen. Didn't amount to anything, though. Buffalo, few drives later. 1st and 10, their own 45, were still scoreless. Cook fumbles, ball knocked out by his own knee, recovered by Patrick Queen. Pittsburgh set up at the Buffalo 39, 6 plays. Warren in from 1 out, 7-0 Stillers. 8:09 left second quarter. Buffalo then, 16th play of the ensuing drive. 4th and 3 of the Pittsburgh 4. They false start. They settle for a Prater field goal. 7-3 Steelers at the half. 3rd quarter, Pittsburgh. First play, Rodgers. Arrogant as ever, Kelley. Thinks he can make a play out of nothing instead of throwing it away. Crushed by Joey Bosa. Fumbles. Christian Benford. Scoop and score from 17 out. First play from scrimmage, second half, and it changed the whole game. 10-7 Billiards. 16 seconds into the half. Mason Rudolph then in. As Rodgers went to tend to his nose, his wrist, anything else that's hurting him.
Getting beat up.
2nd and 6, own 36. Rudolph throws it in a crowd. Aired it out. Benford picks it. Buffalo set up at the 44 now. 8 plays, 56 yards. Their own 44. 8 plays, 56 yards. Cook for 31, the big gainer. 4th and goal at the 1. Allen to Keon Coleman. 16-7 Buffalo. Prater wide left on the extra point. A little less than halfway through the 3rd quarter. Next time Buffalo had the ball from their own 17. 4th and 2. It's a Pittsburgh 23. Ty Johnson for 2. At this point, after 3 quarters, total yards was 310-90 in favor of the Bills. 5 plays later, Allen from 8 out, pushed in, touchdown, 23-7 Bills. Less than a minute into the 4th quarter, Pittsburgh then gets it to 4th and 2 at the Buffalo 7. Gainwell hit for a 2-yard loss by Greg Rousseau. Buffalo from their own 9. With 10-11 left, they matriculate. Drinking game. 4th and 2 at the Pittsburgh 19 with 1:12 left. Prater field goal, 26-7. That's how it would end, as the Steelers just wave the white flag. That is it. Buffalo just pounds them in the second half. I'll say Buffalo, this is Buffalo hosting the Bengals. Now, the Ravens were just 6-point favorites hosting the Bengals, and the Bengals beat them. And now it's the Bills hosting the Bengals after we got to see the Bengals. But the Bills are better than the Ravens, but it can't be the full 6. I said 5.5.
Yep, I think that is well done, and we are right around that area. 5.5. There are 6s on the board.
All right.
Mainly 5.5s, though. How about a couple records in that game? Josh Allen, now the all-time leading quarterback touchdown scorer, 76 rushing touchdown in the regular season, past Cam Newton. Then did you catch that as the most rushing yards Pittsburgh Steelers have ever given up
that
in
is
a
correct. I even had
regular
that
season game.
I even had that note here.
They've been around for a while.
I have it in the last 50 years. Is it ever? Most yards in 50 years by opponent at Pittsburgh. They out time of possession the Steelers 41-59 to 18-01.
Jeez. It's crazy. I don't even know how impressive the Bills were either. Like the Steelers were just a disaster. Okay, still early window. Titans at Browns.
The 1-11 Titans and the 3-9 Browns.
You're chuckling. There's a lot of movement on the game this morning.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Tennessee loses to Jacksonville. Tennessee was up 3-0. They're always up. Tennessee's always leading at the beginning. And Jacksonville, 7 plays, 84 yards. Trevor to Myers for 50, the big chunk. That's Jacoby Myers. 3 plays later to Myers from 3 out, 7-3 Jacksonville, late first quarter. Then Chimere Dike fumbled the ensuing kickoff return. LaQuint Allen Jr. recovers. Jacksonville set up at the Tennessee 35. 4 plays. Trevor to Brenton Strange from 21 out, 13-3. Offside on the extra point. They go for 2. Lawrence in 15-3. Early seconds of the second quarter. Later, Jacksonville from their own 21 with 20 seconds left in the quarter and all 3 timeouts. 13 to Myers, 12 to Strange, 12 to Strange. They eschew, I like when they eschew, the long Cam Little field goal try. They decide to go for the Hail Mary. Tennessee called for roughing the passer. They mess with Lawrence. A scuffle ensues. So they get a roughing the passer penalty. Little 45-yard field goal. Good. 18-3 Jacksonville at the half. Jacksonville first drive of the second half, 71 yards. Would be 3 and out, nullified by roughing the kicker, so they matriculated from there. Convert 4th and 1 at the Tennessee 4. Trevor for 2. Next play, Tootin in from 2. 25-3. That's how it would end. 25-3. No need to go on with that game. By the way, the Titans had 11 first downs and 188 total yards for the 1-11 Titans. And there's the Browns. Browns played the Niners. San Francisco, second time they had the ball after Sky Moore returned it 66 yards. Niners set up at the Cleveland 16, 6 plays. CMC in from 1, 7-0 Niners, 8-12 left first quarter. Cleveland from their own 30. They get to 4th and 1 at the San Francisco 20. Judkins stuffed by Malik Mustafa. Later, Cleveland, 10 plays, 90 yards, all rushes, Kelley, except the last play of the drive. 9 rushes, and then Shador to Harold Fannin Jr. from 34 out. They go for 2 after an illegal substitution penalty. Judkins in, 8-7 Brownies with 39 seconds left in the quarter.
The crowd goes crazy.
But then San Francisco from their own 35 with 39 seconds left in the second. 2 timeouts, Purdy to Kittle for 33. Sets up a chip shot. Matt Gay, 25-yard field goal try, which ricocheted in from 25. 10-8 Niners at the half. Cleveland, second possession, second half. 4 and out. 4th and 1 at their own 33. Fannin Jr. fumbles the snap. Luke Gifford recovers. San Francisco set up at the Cleveland 32. Purdy in from 2. As the entire defense went with McCaffrey, 17-8 Niners, 1:29 left third quarter. Next time the Niners had the ball, 3 and out, but Gage Laverdane muffed the punt. Darrell Luter Jr. recovers. At that point, you're like, okay, Browns, any chance they had is gone with that muff. San Francisco set up at the Cleveland 18, 6 plays. Later, Purdy to Juwan Jennings from 7 out, 23-8, 2-point try fails. I think that was the touchdown where Brock Purdy did the Dougie afterwards, of note.
Yeah.
Teach him out a Dougie. And Cleveland, 4th and 16 at the San Francisco 48. Shador sacked by Keon White. That, for all intents and purposes, was the ball game. 26-8. Niners win it. I will say Cleveland hosting Tennessee. I'll say Cleveland is a 4-point favorite.
What a guess by Gill Alexander. 3.5, mainly 3.5 out there. There are 4s, there are 4.5s.
What was the movement?
It's opened up 3.5 basically everywhere and has been going the Cleveland direction here this morning.
Yeah.
A couple places bought back though. Hit 4.5 and got bought back.
Had to be a tick over 3 was the thinking.
How about your total here? 33.5.
Oh, is it low enough? Coming back on a numbers game at Visa, the Sports Betting Network.
A numbers game on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
Back on a numbers game live from Circa Resort Casino, downtown Las Vegas. Gill Alexander, Kelley Bydlon, everybody. Producer number 9. So much more than a producer.
Hey-yo.
We get tweets beating the book. Brian Schaefer, 31. This year, there is no dominant team. With the Eagles' offensive challenges, the Chiefs might not make the playoffs. The Rams' D getting diced up by Bryce Young. Patriots played the easiest schedule. Buffalo is flawed. It's anyone's Super Bowl this year. Brian, we've been saying it all year. Yeah, we really have. It just, I don't even know if you can throw these. I mean, we saw it by the market numbers last week, right? Never before have 6 teams in the AFC into a late week, right? We're going into week 13 of an NFL season. 6 teams in the AFC were either 5-1 or plus 550 at DraftKings. That is the definition of just, hey, man, we don't know. Nobody knows.
I'm just pulling up the Super Bowl odds right now. Like, I will stand by, even though one of these teams lost yesterday, I'll stand by that I think the Rams and Seahawks are in a tier by themselves. Or does that mean they're good, great, however you want to classify that? I don't know. I don't know, but I think they are in a tier by themselves. How about Packers then plus 950, Bills plus 950, Eagles 10-1, Broncos 10-1, Patriots 11-1, Colts 12-1. I have no idea if any of these teams are all that great.
Nope. And it's the one year you don't even you're not even tempted to play a matchup or in a Super Bowl because who knows? At least I'm not.
I mean, good for anybody who, jammed some Bears ones in 4 weeks ago.
Look at the Bears fans getting ornery.
1 seed in the NFC, sure.
Christopher Ritter, we're done with Cincy. Best thing to happen for the Steelers is to get dog walked in both games versus the Ravens. Fire Tomlin, bring in Marcus Freeman, start anew. This has turned into a joke year in and year out. Joshua Smalls, I bet the Cowboys 60-1 to win the division before the Eagles game. Figured the number would be gone if they won both and Philly lost.
Oh, good on you. That was sad, though. The Fire Tomlin chance.
Oh, God, really?
As much as the guy's driven me nuts and cost me bet, I mean, that's an ultimate sign of respect, right? I have lost so much betting against Mike Tomlin.
Yeah.
In season win totals over the years. And yeah, the chants were raining in last night.
6-6. Tied atop the division. Ravens right now have the tiebreaker, but both teams play each other twice starting this week. So we'll get to that. I just want to say before we move back into guessing lines and look for value here, shout out to Rodney Harrison. Did anybody see this last night? So the pregame of the Sunday Night Football game between Washington and Denver last night, they do their whole thing. They're on the field. It's cold in D.C. or in Maryland as it was. And it's Jack Collinsworth, Tony Dungy, Jax Collinsworth, Tony Dungy, and Rodney Harrison at the desk. And is it Jack or Jack? Jack Collinsworth.
Jack with a C.
Jack with a C, pardon me. Throws a question, as he does all the time, to Rodney Harrison. And Rodney Harrison appeared to either not hear or be confused by the question. And then Jack did a follow-up to it. And Rodney still seemed a little off and had a very sparse response and sort of apologized for the sparse response. And if you were watching at the time, I know I did. I became very concerned for him. I thought he was having, I genuinely thought, I know we joke about it when something happens to you here on the show, but I genuinely thought he was having some kind of medical event. And out loud in the apartment, I was just like, oh no. I wanted them to pull away from it. Turns out, though, that he rebounded. He finished the segment, although not that spectacularly, I must say. But apparently he came back later, and apparently he's okay. So I just hope, and we just shout out as a show, as a network to Rodney Harrison, hope everything's okay. That was a scare for many of us watching that last night.
I didn't catch it live, but man, it was everywhere afterward. That's pretty scary.
Yeah. All right.
It's early window. We move on. The Commanders at the Vikings.
Speaking of the Commanders, how about that effort last night? This is the 3-9 Commanders at the 4-8 Vikings. Remember there was a possibility that these two teams would maybe meet in the NFC Championship last year? One of them got there. The other didn't. Washington, if you missed this game last night, you missed a hell of a football game. Denver's up 3-0. This is the first half. Washington set up at their own 42, 2nd and 6 at the Denver 19. Mariota picked by Drake Greenlaw. Denver 4th and 1 at the Washington 45. Ensuing drive, Nix to Troutman for 22. That led to another Lutz field goal. 6-0 Broncos halfway through the second quarter. Then Washington, 71 yards. Rodriguez in from 8 after Denver accepted an illegal formation penalty that gave Washington 1st and 15 from the 16 instead of 2nd and 10 from the 11. I thought that was curious. Then an unnecessary roughness on Benito for dragging Tyler Badass on the ground. No call on Tunsil for then kicking Benito down after that. 7-6 Washington, 2:21 left in the second quarter. Denver then goes 10 plays, 64 yards, and 158. Nix falling to the ground just before his knee hits to Sutton from 11 out, 13-7 Broncos at the half. Great play by Bo Nix. Third quarter begins. So Washington, really a great game plan, I thought, by Cliff Kingsbury. Short, quick passes Wouldn't let that Denver pass rush get to them. That was kind of a blueprint for everybody else who's better than Washington to beat the Broncos later. Third quarter, Washington, 10 plays, 72 yards, Mariota to Burks from 5 out. Insane one-handed catch by Treylon Burks, reminiscent of OBJ.
Oh, man.
Wasn't as good because OBJ's was a long pass that the ball came out of the sky. But this one was unbelievable. I thought there was no way he was catching this ball.
I mean, it's a Sunday full. There was, what, we have 3 or 4 catches yesterday? They were just insane.
3 insane catches yesterday. Treylon Burks for Washington, Brock Bowers touchdown for the Raiders, and maybe the coup de grace.
Yeah, it was
Puka Nacua for the Rams, maybe with the catch of the day, if Treylon Burks' wasn't. Anyway, Burks catches an insane one-handed catch, 14-13 Washington, 9:58 left third quarter. Then Denver responds, 11 plays, 72 yards, where they convert 3 third down conversions, 3rd and 8, a 3rd and 11, a 3rd and 5. Harvey in from 1, it's 20-14 Broncos, 3:59 left. Remember, the spread was 6. We're right on it. Denver, next time they had the ball, 3rd and 8 at their own 33. Nix throws it right to Bobby Wagner. Didn't see him. Washington set up at the Denver 36. They get a Moody 38-yard field goal. There's Jake Moody. 20-17 Broncos after Surtain doesn't get flagged pulling on the incomparable Terry McLaurin in the end zone. And Tirico and Collinsworth just went with it. Yeah, I just think that's hand fighting. He's all over him. We don't throw flags on Surtain, apparently. Stop it. The whole time I'm saying in the group chat, I'm like, just let McLaurin go one-on-one and toast that. Anyway, sorry. Had a little moment there. It was funny watching this game. I didn't have anything on it, but like my little boy Washington fanhood came out. I was just going nuts on this game. And they're going nowhere, obviously, with the record. Anyway, it's 20-17 at this point. Washington now, this is fourth quarter from their own 20 with 4:42 left. 2nd and 9 at their own 37. Mariota tripped by Dondre Tillman. No flag. They have to punt. The whole broadcast is like, oh, my God. Complete trip, no flag. Washington, next time they get the ball from their own 14 with 3 minutes left. 1 timeout left in the 2-minute warning. First play, Surtain hits Burks early, no flag. 4th and inches, zone 35. McNichols for 2. 2-minute warning. They get to midfield. Then a phantom false start on McLaurin, which, again, the broadcast booth and Terry McCauley are like, what was that? Then an intentional grounding, which McCauley says was, quote, absolutely not grounding. Ends up 3rd and 25 back on their own 36 to McLaurin for 19. 4th and 6 at the Denver 45. Mariota to Ertz for 8. 1st and 10 at the Denver 37 to Debo for 10 to Debo for 7. All of a sudden now Washington thinking we're going to win this. 2nd and 3 at the Denver 20. 23 seconds left. Now no timeouts. Incomplete. 3rd and 3 at the Denver 20. Mariota runs for 6. You just got to get the Hawaiian T in there.
Yep.
Because they were doing it all last night.
That was a big deal last night.
Big deal on the broadcast. I just wanted to match their efforts. Mariota runs for 6. Just gets out of bounds, by the way. First at the Denver 14 with 12 seconds left. Incomplete. Moody, 32-yard field goal. We're going overtime. 20 apiece. The Skins win the toss. Also, the Commanders won the toss. They elected to kick, which, again, they were questioning afterwards because like Denver had just been on the field for a million plays in a row. Maybe Washington should have taken it on offense. Instead, they elect to kick, and the Broncos go 5 plays, 76 yards, and 301. Nix to Ingram for 41, the big one. 2 plays later, Harvey in for 5. 27-20 Broncos. Washington, then, you're like, oh, my God, not only is Denver going to win, they're going to cover because of the overtime. But Washington goes 11 plays, 65 yards, and 412. Mariota to McLaurin for 20. Then 4th and 6 at the Denver 41. Mariota escapes the sack by Benito and Franklin Myers. I don't know how he escaped it.
Yeah.
He passes it. It's picked off a deflection, but a PI called on Talanoa Ofanga, who says, my bad, I did it. 1st and 10 at the Denver 36. McNichols for 8. Then McNichols loses 2. Then Mariota to McLaurin for 30. Touchdown, right? No, but a hold called on Josh Connerly. Correct call. Then to Debo for 38 to the 2. 1st and goal, the 2. Remember, 7 ties, 8 wins. Rodriguez loses a yard. Then incomplete. Then incomplete to Ertz, who drops it in the end zone. 4th and goal, 3. Mariota to McLaurin. Touchdown. Pick not called. 27-26. You're 3 and 8. Of course you're going for it. Mariota drops back, he's in the shotgun, I believe. McNichols wide open in the flat. Benito bats it down. Ball game. Broncos win.
Great finish.
And then there's Minnesota. Brosmer was 19 of 30 for 126. He had 4 picks. Justin Jefferson, 2 catches for 4 yards for the Vikings. Washington at Minnesota. I'll say Washington minus 2.5.
Washington, a 1.5 point favorite.
That's what it should be.
All right. I might be betting your Commanders.
Got to. Coming back on a numbers game right here at VSiN.
The numbers told the story they always do.
It's one of those idiots who believe in analytics.
This is a numbers game with Gill Alexander on VSiN.
Hour number 2 of a numbers game at VSiN, the Sports Betting Network, VSiN.com, Game Plus, iHeartRadio, YouTube TV, and of course, Sirius XM Channel 158. It's radio's Gill Alexander, everybody. That right there is television's Kelley Bydlon. Bringing the pretty each and every morning. It's what he does.
That's right. That's what I try to do.
I just bet Washington -1.
Yeah, I like it. I think I'm going
Just
to be
bet it.
joining you on that one.
I think Jaden's coming back, too.
This Minnesota team, I mean, this is, whether it's McCarthy or Brosmer, I mean, this is rough.
Jefferson, 2 catches for 4 yards.
Yeah. Defense was impressive.
It always is.
Yes. Defense was impressive.
I mean,
Always do a great job
Kevin
on the side of
O'Connell
the
was
ball.
known as the quarterback whisperer. Not so much this year. Ray in
Had to get his own guy.
Ray in Texas on Twitter. Are we sure Marcus Mariota isn't a starting quarterback in this league? And from last week, giving Mexican restaurant recommendations, Juan and Linda's Mexican restaurant, Anderson, Texas, population of 193, fantastic burrito grande.
Take your word for it.
If you're ever in Anderson, Texas, they got a great burrito grande there.
Is that one of the towns in West Texas that I've been pulled over in driving out here because it goes from speed limit 80 to 50 to 25 because there's one town with one main street light? Cops know where to plant themselves on that road. I'll tell you that much, Gill.
Anderson, Texas is in Grimes County, Texas, Kelley, which everybody knows. Mm-hmm. And I don't know, is it in West Texas? I'll tell you right now. Anderson, Texas is in it's in Southeast Texas. So not one of those towns.
Gotcha.
Okay. By the way, to answer your question, yeah, I mean, I don't know. Marcus Mariota is one of the best backup quarterbacks in the NFL. No question about that. Is he a starter? He could start for some of these teams, that's for sure. This is from James, NTU 89. Gill, I had Denver and some late start survivors and Washington plus 5.5 in some spread contests. Never in doubt. Nice job. Do you have a play on tonight's game? The Patriots and the Giants, the last of the Week 13 games, if you will.
Yeah. Actually, I do. I have the Patriots in a teaser. Last teaser of the week with the Seahawks from yesterday. As you'll see later in the show, I have multiple teasers with the Seahawks once again this week. So, yeah, if you wanted to join me at 7, I bet it played it when it was 7.5. But if you wanted to tease down the Patriots with the Seahawks for next week, that's not one I would hate.
Jackson Dart getting the start for the Giants against the numbers game recommendations.
Yeah, what are they doing?
They have a bye next week. They're going to play them. Please don't get hurt.
And it would be,
Please don't get
even on
concussed.
this number, Gil, me and you talked about this a lot. It would still be Patriots. Patriots laying the 7. If you don't want to play a teaser or whatever, I understand. It would be Patriots laying the 7. Look, I know Will Campbell's out. I know the Patriots are missing some of their guys. But what we hit on it. Jackson Dart coming back. How limited, or are they just going to let him play? And I have a feeling they're not going to let him play his game. And when you tell a rookie quarterback something like that, to dial it back and to play a little bit different than what he's used to, what he's comfortable doing, man, I don't like that.
I would think unless it's a crunch time game deciding sequence late, he's not doing anything running.
That's what I would think too.
Yeah.
That's what I would think too.
The big changes in the standings, we'll get back into guessing lines. We'll talk college football here momentarily.
There's also a part of this, I know it was a little bit more assumed he would be back this week. But remember how big of a line move we saw just what was that, last week when they played the Lions to Jameis? It was like a 3.5 point move.
Which was ridiculous.
There's been no move really here all week besides maybe a half point back to the Giants' way.
The biggest changes, again, Ravens and Steelers still both 6-6 atop the AFC North. Ravens currently, on tiebreaker ahead, but the two teams play each other twice, so starting this week, so that will be determined. The Jaguars and Colts tied atop the AFC South at 8-4. The Jaguars currently have the tiebreaker. The Texans lurking at 7-5. The Colts very much looking like a team that we've seen so many years in the past that go out to a flying start and then, oh boy, are they any good at all now?
I have those terrible preseason tickets on the Texans to win that division, Gil. There's nothing surprising to me about the Colts coming back to the pack a bit and the Texans starting to play better right now. The one I could have never told you I was going to predict was that the Jaguars were going to be where they're at right now.
Yeah. Well, remember the Colts were like 1 or 2 in DVOA for a while as well. And of course, the biggest thing, Chicago Bears fans, forgive me for burying the headline. Right now, the number 1 seed in the NFC is the Chicago Bears at 9-3.
It's wild.
Except for the fact that they have a point differential of +6, and their schedule is ridiculously hard moving forward. But we thought at Philly was hard, right? So
right, 40-1 to win the Super Bowl.
As I will say this, 40-1 to win the Super Bowl. As I will say this again, good on Caleb, right? Because he got a lot of incoming last year. We used to play the audio of Merrill Hodge saying he's nothing special. I don't listen. As I said last week. Does he still have a lot of plays, way too many that I think are whirling dervish out of the scheme and he just throws it and whatever? And those happen to work out for him this year? Have they had a lot of close ones? Yes, all of that is true. But still a massive improvement for him from last year. And then in the NFC West, the Rams and Seahawks are both 9-3 and the Niners are 9-4.
Yeah, man.
The Bucs are 7 in the South, the NFC South. The Bucs are 7-5 and the Panthers are 7-6. In the NFC East, the Eagles are 8-4, and the Cowboys are 1.5 back at 6-5-1. I mean, all of these divisions are so up for grabs, and really the biggest leads in any division in football is a grand total of 2 games. That's the Broncos 2 games over the Chargers, 4 over the Chiefs, by the way, in the AFC West, and the Patriots 2 games currently heading into tonight over the Bills in the AFC East. That's it.
Like those two teams, I am far from the top of my power rankings, confidence rankings. I mean, my gosh, that Broncos team, I mean, it scares the crap out of you every time you watch them if you have money on them.
I mean, the Broncos have beaten, let's get the whole schedule down. The Broncos have beaten the Commanders, Giants, Raiders, and Jets. I'm going to get this exactly right. They've beaten those 4 football teams. Okay, here you go. Thank you, Danny. They've beaten they beat the Titans by 8, the Jets by 2, the Giants by 1, the Raiders by 3, and Washington by 1. They had some good wins in there too. Don't get me wrong. The comeback against the Eagles, where they came out of nowhere to win that one. They did beat the Texans by 3. They beat the Cowboys by 20. But just think about those games again. Titans by 8, Jets by 2, Giants by 1, Raiders by 3, Washington by 1.
5-6-1 ATS, 5.5 margin of victory for the Broncos on the season, and a plus 2.3 on the ATS plus minus. How much are you covering the spread by on average?
It's without question the most bizarre NFL year. And this is not prisoner of the moment stuff. It's the most bizarre NFL year. Scotty, Leisure Suit Kobe. Rodney Harrison's incident was bizarre. Social media consensus diagnosed his medical condition as being sauced as he had also lost a glove, which Collinsworth started to joke about. I was more concerned when he reappeared in the Nick Benito interview and gave him, okay, he said, a white guy handshake, he said. Now, I was genuinely concerned for Rodney Harrison. It really was not a joking matter at the time. Let's do one more here. What do you got?
All right, early window, the Dolphins at the Jets.
5-7 Dolphins, 3-9 Jets. Oh, the barn burner. Dolphins beat the Saints. First drive for the Dolphins, 6 plays, 69 yards. Achane in from 29, 7-0 Dolphins. Later, it was 10-0 second quarter. New Orleans, 2nd and 8 at Miami 49. Tyler Shuck sacked by Minkah Fitzpatrick. Fumble, Zach Sealer recovered. Miami set up at the New Orleans 37. First play, Tua returned the favor. Picked deep by McKinstry. Kool-Aid McKinstry. It would get to 13-0 Dolphins. Then New Orleans, 2nd and 10 at Miami 24. Shuck picked by Rasul Douglas. It would get to 16-0 Dolphins at the half. Then the first drive of the second half, New Orleans goes 10 plays, 65 yards. Shuck to Olave from 17 out. Shuck in for 2. Split the or cut the 16-0 lead in half, 16-8 with 10:40 left in the third quarter. But then it would get to 19-8 Dolphins, and then New Orleans 4th and 8 at the Miami 37. They kicked a field goal. Do you see this? Charlie Smith, a Gaelic football player in Northern Ireland.
Nice.
His first field goal attempt ever drills a 56-yarder. Just drills it.
Today's NFL.
19-11, Dolphins with 6:08 left. Miami would have a 4th and 1 at the New Orleans 43 with 3:05 left. Ollie Gordon hit for a 1-yard loss. So New Orleans down 8, 1 possession. From their own 45 with 2:57 left, 1 timeout and 2-minute warning, 7 plays, Shuck to Devon Vele from 15 out, great catch back in the end zone. It's 19-17. Of course, they go for 2, false start from the 7-yard line. Got to get 2 to tie. Shuck, picked by Minka. 2-point return to the house. So instead of 19-19, it's 21-17 Dolphins with 1:17 left, and you figure, well, it's over, right? Because it's an onside kick. There's no chance those ever work. And the Dolphins seemingly fell asleep on the onside kick. They just were like, were they not ready for it? They just didn't move. And it looked like the recovery was just short of 10 yards by Vele, but ruled apparently as the Dolphins having touched the ball first, like a fingernail on the ball. So New Orleans got the ball at their own 45 with 1:15 left, down 4. They still had one timeout. They got to the Miami 36, 4th and 1. Shuck stuffed ball game. Miami beats the Saints. The Jets we already talked about. They, in that riveting back and forth with the Falcons, they win it. Terod was 19 of 33 for 172 in victory. Adonai Echad Eloheinu was 8 catches for 102 yards and a touchdown. 269 total yards for the Jets, and they still won. 269 total yards, still victorious. Miami at the Jets. Miami minus 2.5.
This one is Miami minus 2.5.
Stick around.
Everywhere.
We have more prayers later.
You know, this is easy. It's becoming my favorite player in the NFL because of you. Thank you. This is one of those games, Gill, I don't think I'm going to be involved in, but I don't know, 2 bad teams seemingly competing down the stretch. Like, they are doing everything to get wins, it feels like, both of these teams. So, I don't know. If you love seeing that out of your football teams, you've got that going for you in this game.
Nobody talking about Mike McDaniel anymore?
Yeah, nobody's talking about that.
Yeah.
I mean, like, you know, if you're a Jets fan, you should be angry at the idea of winning football games, but, you know, whatever.
All right. We got more to talk about, including college football. More games to get to. I have made one bet on Washington, -1 at Minnesota. That is in pocket, as they say. Coming back on a numbers game at VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
A numbers game on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
Unmatched transparency with records updated daily, AI betting analysis, real-time global betting information, and alerts directly from the pros. We invite you to check them out. Sharpplays.com. Got a little QR code there on the screen. You can scan there for more. The Sharp Plays at Sharp Plays without the word the. Sharpplays.com. Let me just read this. Let me read this one tweet here. Who's this? Oh, this is something else that he didn't want me to read on air. Okay, never mind about that. Can I just talk about one thing that happened Friday? Because we were here Friday morning, obviously, but we weren't here for the Eagles-Bears game aftermath. Mm-hmm. And we won't go through that play-by-play like we do the other games because obviously it was on Friday. But obviously huge survivor implications. It was part of the massive carnage, the most carnage of any of the 4 games in a Thanksgiving quirk Thursday, Friday. That was not only the most carnage in the history of a Thanksgiving, but again, the biggest massacre of any week percentage-wise in the history of Circa Survivor. 94+% of all entries, all remaining entries gone Thursday, Friday. Most of those on the Eagles on Friday. We already discussed it earlier. But I wanted to talk about the aftermath of that because I wasn't aware of I was aware that it happened in the game, right? But I wasn't aware of the massive debate that went on Twitter afterwards about the Eagles going for 2 down 9 with 3 minutes and 10 seconds left in this game. Did you see any of that?
Yes. Oh, yeah, I did. Yeah.
So Eagles,
I'm like you. I saw it. I didn't see much of the debate afterwards.
I didn't see it until then. I was told about it. So, Eagles were down 24-9. They score to make it 24-15 with 3:10 left. And they go for 2, and they failed. So they're down 9 at that point. Onside kick failed, and they did get the ball back once more after that. They missed a 52-yarder. Anyway, the Bears won it by that same score, 24-15. But the point is they were down 9 with 3:10 left, and they went for 2. And this sparked this massive debate for people. And, we start every show here by saying I'm one of those idiots who believe in analytics. Mm-hmm. And I am. And I talked about this a few weeks ago where I am more of a baseball analytics background guy, right? That's when I used to bet, the sport that I bet the most for so many years was baseball. And I am a baseball analytics guy because baseball is a more mechanical sport. It's a individual sport disguised as a team sport where every play begins with one person throwing a ball to one other person. And then the team part of that ensues. But when it comes to football, I mentioned this a few weeks ago, Kelley. I think you remember when I was talking about how I feel like football analytics, there's too many moving parts for the general mainstream media to really grasp what's going on with it. And I put it in the context of when you ever see those fourth down bots where Joe Buck and Troy Aikman or whatever broadcast, but for whatever reason, I think of Joe Buck saying it. Well, analytics say for you to go here, 4th and 2 at the whatever, right? And I made the point a few weeks ago, and I'm an analytics guy, right? But I made the point that I'm like, that doesn't tell the story, right? It should be, well, the proper play here is you go for it, or the proper play here is you punt if, right? They don't get to the if part. If you're able to pin the opposing team, let's say, within the goal line to the 5-yard line or the goal line to the 10-yard line. But if you only get them to the 10 to the 15, then it's kind of 50-50. And if it's touchback, actually, it's a negative EV play to punt. There's just so much information that is left out in football analytics, in my opinion, because it's not, runner at 1st and 3rd, score is 5-2, 2 out, bottom 6. It's just not as mechanical. And so with that sort of as a backdrop, then this 2-point conversion thing comes up, and it comes up a lot. And I'm amused by how entrenched each side is on their part of this conviction. The you absolutely have to go crowd and the absolutely it's the wrong thing to do crowd. We see this in politics, right? More than anything. Is I'm right and that guy over there is 100% wrong and I will destroy him. That's what our society has devolved into. And with the 2-point conversion, it's so interesting to me because even as a guy who is an idiot who loves analytics, as Charles Barkley says at the beginning of each and every one of these programs, I'm just amazed at how confident and even overconfident the analytics community is, the pedantic analytics community is, when they say you absolutely go for 2 in this situation. Okay, you don't absolutely do anything. I hate to pick on our guy Steve Fezzik, who's here every Friday, but in some form, every week I say to Fezzik about any number of topics, I go, Steve, at best, you're off-putting with your confidence. At worst, you're just wrong, right? But he stays resolute and no, this is correct. It's the math, and that's it. And the math people be mathing on this, and I get it, they're coming from a good place. But they at least have to allow. This is what drives me crazy. They at least have to allow for the fact that not every situation is created equal, just like that punts example I gave.
I mean, you just laid out. That's the best example. It's that, right? You're the midfield, punting versus going for it. If a punt, you shank it and it goes out at the 30 or it goes into the end zone, or if you pin him at the 2, that's wildly different of what your EPA on the next drive is.
And so my point with this, Kelley, is if you're down 9 with 3:10 left in the game, 190 seconds, that is a different calculus than if you're down 9 with 14 minutes left in the game. That's the first thing. The time left matters. The other things that matter is also, by the way, Philly could have come up with a better play, right? That's another thing. Right, yeah. That aside for a second. But the other things that matter is, we're willing to allow for the fact, the same analytics people are willing to allow for the fact that when a team is up 3 late, the opponent who has to catch up with them is more willing to play call for the field goal and might be in a better situation, or the team that's up 3, than if they were up 6 and their opponent then plays for a touchdown and they would lose. If you are one of those people that allows for the fact that strategy changes also, you have to also understand that strategy could change whether you're up 8 or whether you're up 9 and all that. So there's there's the variable of time, there's the variable of personnel, there's the variable of strategy. And I guess long story short of way of saying is, you're not 100% right ever on this stuff. There's too many moving parts, and the sport of football is not an individual sport. And so I wish people would just get off their soapbox with that stuff.
Yeah. I agree with you, because I don't know how many times a week it feels like now. I'm just like, and I feel like I'm the only one. This is part of the reason why I stay off social media so much on Sundays too, because everybody's got a hot take one way or the other, right? And it's
by the way, it worse in the reverse too, where it's like also the people that say you should absolutely kick the extra point there and extend it so that you are more into the game mentally. Like, that's not always a great argument either. Let me just go back to the because I want to to have some cred on this, I want to go after the analytics people more because I think they're more pedantic and more sort of nose in the air about this. You absolutely must go for 2 there. You know what the all-time record is? If you're down 15 or 16, all-time record for NFL teams down 15 who go for the 2, down 15 or 16 within the 12-minute mark. Do you know what their all-time record is straight up, winning those games? 1 in 26. All time. So for all this bluster about you absolutely must go for 2 to get it to 7, you're 1 in 26 doing that. And the only time there was ever a victory doing that was when the Atlanta Falcons just fell asleep on an onside kick against the Cowboys.
And if you're going to go that specific as far as the numbers, right? Small, like what sample size are we talking about even? You know, I guess the argument works.
27 games. You're 1 in 26.
No, but I'm
just saying, how can you be that overconfident about something when you're 1 in 26?
Yeah.
You're not. Your logic is fine, but the fact that you just don't allow for the possibility. I hate. It's like I hate the president, but could he be right a couple times about a couple things? Even right? It's like the same sort of thing. Anyway. That's my rant about that.
Yeah, we've gotten to the point where so many of these, I feel like I do have the opposite reaction. Where I saw that and I was like, well, wow, I am pretty shocked they are doing this here. I would be kicking the extra point, but it's at the same time, my mind immediately went to it was okay. Well, you're gonna have to go for 2 regardless. So okay, fine if you want to go for 2 here and they get that out of the way. I just didn't have that big of a deal with it. So many of these go for 2s. It's especially the scenario that you first brought out. I've stopped getting upset about it too much because you have no idea what's going to happen on that punt or potential field goal or whatever.
There's 190 seconds left. Do you really think going for 2 there was absolutely beyond a shadow of a doubt the absolute only correct answer to that question? I would argue it's not. In fact, you might be wrong.
Mm-hmm.
That's all. You make any bets besides Washington so far? You made Washington too, right?
I haven't bet it yet. No, I have not bet it yet. I have the Seahawks in 2 teaser legs from games that we have talked about so far, and I believe that's it. We haven't gotten to the rest yet.
Okay. We got more to get to. We're still in the early window? Yes, we're still in the early window. We will get to those. We'll get to the late games as well, and then the primetime games as well. Adam Burke will join us a little later on, and we got to talk college football. We got to talk Lane Kiffin, and I think with this whole college football playoff, I think there's something that the mainstream media is just putting their heads in the sand about on this. And they're just kind of acting like this can't possibly happen, so let's not talk about it happening. Coming up on A Numbers Game at VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
A Numbers Game on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
Profit X giving you an exclusive 20% purchase match up to $100. Profit X, the #1 sports prediction market available in 40-plus states where you can trade your sports opinions just like stocks on main lines, player props, parlays, and more. You can even request your own odds, access live markets, and bet yes or no on touchdown scores, passing totals, and game outcomes. Download the Profit X app today and experience the future of sports betting powered by prediction markets. Use promo code VSiN to claim your 20% match up to $100 and get in the action now. I haven't been to Cali in a few weeks. I miss my Profit X app. Miss playing on Profit X.
Yeah, man, you've been hanging in Vegas.
Loving it. Can't wait to get back, though. We get tweets beating the book. Always appreciate it. Patty Romp. Don't recommend driving through Texas. The speed limit will be 65, but mixed in there will be a town the size of a car.
That's what I was just talking about. It's insane.
With the speed limit of 25, and that one car is a cop waiting for you.
No, it goes. I'm pretty sure. Okay, maybe it's not 80. Maybe it's 75. It's a very, very high speed limit when you're on, 20 in West Texas, and it's 75. I got 2 speeding tickets in one day because of this exact situation. It went 75, and then then you don't see a town. You don't see anything upcoming, right? You're just cruising zone 75 miles an hour, and then boom, speed limit 50. And then 2 miles later, boom, speed limit 25. Oh, wait, I can see a little ghost town on the horizon where, yes, there is a main street with one light that you got to slow down for. So, of course, the cops just camp out right behind one of the speed limit signs for either the 25 or the 50.
Are you Kelley Bydlon?
I got pulled over for the second time I got pulled over in that day. I was like, oh boy, I really hope this guy doesn't doesn't notice this. And, of course, he comes back. He's like, excuse me, sir, did you get pulled over earlier today? I'm like, yeah, like 2 hours ago.
That was me. Sorry. This is from Joe Abraham. I'm an analytics guy and use it heavily in my coaching, but too many analytics people don't understand that personnel, weather, and other things must be factored in. As much as I hate sacrifice bunts, if I have a 173 hitter at the plate, it might be time to bunt. Ryan Hyatt. And we thank you, Gill, for a cogent, sobering, and honest breakdown on the use of analytics to justify a certain play call. Nothing is ever absolute when it comes to decision-making in football. It is always situational. Analytics are merely a guide, a good guide, but merely another tool to use in making good decisions in real time. Thank you. Thank you, Ryan, for that very nice tweet. K-Flow, our guy who's helped us out with Survivor stats, he said, perfectly stated on the go for two / kick the extra point debate. The only absolutes in life are death and taxes. That's it. This isn't one of them. Too many human and external variables, weather, wind, game flow, fatigue, etc., that can't be modeled to create a 100% accurate outcome. It's significantly more nuanced than either extreme wants to acknowledge, but man alive, both are passionate in their absolute belief the other side is wrong. Absolutely, man.
The one that, like, we've brought this up about coaching staffs before, Gil, and like, it's you got to have somebody in the box somewhere who knows time, score, situation. I always bring up the kid who's played Madden for a dozen years because he's gone through this simulation more times than most of these guys have in real football games. Like, you need someone like that to be able to help guide these decisions. I also think we've hit the point, though, where the broadcasts need this. When they have a referee, they have the old referees that help out with that stuff. They'll bring in for someone if there's injuries, too. I think you need someone like this to help out with the broadcast now, because a lot of that reaction, the toxic reaction that we see on social media, so many times it's over to against the broadcast, right? With them not fully understanding. So at least get someone in their ear to explain the analytics side of it, and then maybe they can at least handle it a little bit better.
Yes, and yes, and yes to all that. What's next?
All right, early window, Saints at Bucks.
Saints, we just talked about, lose to the Dolphins. Tyler Shuck, 26 of 38 for 239. 2 touchdowns, 1 pick, 4 sacks, lost a fumble. Tampa Bay beats the Cardinals. This was such a ho-hum game, too. Yeah. There were so many games yesterday that we were like, whatever. Bucks win it, though. They beat the Cardinals. Scoreless game. Tampa Bay on their 3rd drive. This is after a Brissett pick that led to nothing. Tampa Bay, big Baker to Godwin, 31-yard pass play led to a 1st and goal, but Godwin dropped the 3rd down pass in the end zone. They had to settle for a McLaughlin 25-yard field goal, 3-0 Bucks. 8:02 left second quarter. Next time the Bucks had the ball from midfield, 4th and 2 at the Arizona 14. Baker to Shepard for 5. 3rd and goal to 2. Baker to Tristan Wirfs. First touchdown of Tristan Wirfs' career. 10-0 Bucks. It would be 10-3 at the half after a Island field goal. Second possession for the Cardinals after, again, another Cardinals turnover early in the half that didn't really come back to haunt them. Arizona gets a Ryland 43-yard field goal try wide right. It remains 10-3 Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay then goes 7 plays, 67 yards. Bucky Irving, welcome back, in from 13. 17-3 Bucks, 3:56 left third quarter. Arizona responds. 6 plays, 72 yards. Brissett to Bam. That's Bam Knight from 15 out, 17-10. Late third quarter. Then next time Arizona had the ball, 4th and 1 at their own 39. Bam, stuff for no gain by Anthony Nelson. Tampa Bay set up at the Arizona 39. They settle for McLaughlin 57-yard field goal and make it 20-10 with 8:58 left. And of course, Arizona made it close. 9 plays, 73 yards. Brissett to McBride from 15 out. Trey McBride as steady as she goes. 20-17 Bucks with 4:58 left, and Arizona would get the ball back. Down 3 from their own 9 with 1:49 left. 1 timeout. 4 and out. There you go. 4th and 2 at their own 17%, incomplete for Wilson. Ball game. Bucks win it. Bucks hosting the Saints. Bucks have a really easy schedule. They got a lot of wins that they can put in their bank right now, but only a half game lead in the NFC South. Amazing. I'll say Bucks -6 here. Early window.
Bucks 8.5 9-point favorites.
Woo! Higher than I thought.
Put them in a teaser with the Seahawks. This is, I understand where you're coming from a little bit. This Bucks team's still trying to get healthy and get their feet underneath them, but man, this Saints, yeah. Just not inspiring much confidence. You know what? Did I bet the under in this one too? I bet the under as well. Smaller, but I did bet under 43. Just say
there you go.
Same type of thing. Like I think, Baker in this offense, yes, Bucky's getting back. You're still getting some of these pieces back, but Baker banged up. I'm expecting much from the Saints offense, so yeah, I went under 43 in that game as well.
Still early window?
We are still in the early window, yes. Colts at Jaguars.
This is great, man. So we have the two teams atop the AFC South, Colts and Jags playing each other. And we have the two teams atop the AFC North, 6-6, the Ravens and the Steelers playing each other. This is a good week of football right here. Colts and Jags, we already talked about the Jags beating the Titans. Trevor was 16 of 27 for 229. Again, Jacksonville held Tennessee to 11 first downs and 188 total yards in that game. But Indianapolis, we haven't talked about. They lose. This was Dr. Bob's NFL play, remember? Mm-hmm. They lose to the Texans. Houston, first drive on a drive that saw Sauce Gardner go out with what looked like an Achilles injury because he had the telltale sign where he kind of looked confused and looked back at his heel. And I'm like, yeah, that was Achilles, wasn't it? Apparently it's only a calf injury, they're saying. Good on him.
That's what they're saying for now.
That's what they're saying for now. Fairbairn 23-yard field goal makes it 3-0 Texans halfway through the first. Little later, Indianapolis. Daniel Jones to Jonathan Taylor for 33 to start, mostly yak, but 4th and 1 at the Houston 9. Tyler Warren fumbles the snap. Taylor recovers, but stuff behind the line. Houston, first play, 1st and 10 at their own 11. Stroud picked by Cam Bynum. Indianapolis set up at the Houston 42. 3 plays. Jones to Pierce for 19 to start, then to Pierce from 19 to end at touchdown, 6-3 Colts, but Badgley missed the PAT. So it remains 6-3 Colts. Houston, then ensuing drive, 8 plays, 67 yards. Stroud to Collins for 22. That sets up Chubb in from 4 out, 10-6. Houston, that would be the score at the half. Third quarter, 13-6. Houston now. Texans are up a touchdown. Indianapolis, 79 yards. Jones to Downs for 34 and a tremendous toe tap catch. On any other day, that's maybe the catch of the day. This wasn't even higher than 4th.
At best, 4th.
At best, 4th.
At best.
34 yards on a tremendous toe tap catch. Then a PI. You see this? A PI was called where the ball landed like 7 yards out of bounds. Sets up Jones to Warren, 12-yard touchdown pass. Next play, 13-13 with 2:51 left in the third quarter. Listen, do we have uncatchable or not? If we do, then enforce it. If you don't enforce it, then just don't have it. 13-13, 2:51 left.
I hate
quarter.
it drives me more nuts than any rule in the book.
Because it's so subjective. It's so inconsistently called.
Me and you talked. It's inconsistently called, and all I ask for it more than anything is consistency, right? But me and you have talked about this before.
Forever.
What's the and this is me reading too much, okay? This is my own interpretation, that's fine. What intentional grounding? What is the intent of the quarterback?
That's right.
The intent of the quarterback is to throw that ball so nobody has a chance to catch it.
That's right.
Sorry.
That's okay. 13-13. You're allowed to rant. I've done enough ranting today. 13-13, 2:51 left third quarter. Houston ensuing drive, 13 plays, 65 yards on a drive extended by a PI call on 3rd and 15 at the Indianapolis 25. 4 plays later, Collins on a pitch in from 7, 20-13 Texans after Fairbairn's extra point appeared to go wide left, but it was one of those deals where they said, I guess, that it went right over the goalpost. So it was like an optical illusion. It looked on the broadcast like it was missed, but they gave it to him, 20-13 Texans. Badgley, we get a field goal to cut it to 20-16. Houston, then 4th and 1 at the Indianapolis 17. Cade Stover, stuff for no gain. So Indianapolis down 4 from their own 17 with 4:45 left. They get it to 4th and 9 at the Houston 31. Jones incomplete, intended for Pittman Jr. And Houston, with Indianapolis having all 3 timeouts, they get the first down on 2 Woody Marks rushes. Ball game. Houston beats the Colts. So this is Indianapolis at Jacksonville. This is for the lead in the AFC North.
So gross.
Unless they tie, and the Jaguars will maintain the tiebreaker at that point. I'll say Jags minus 2.5, not the full 3.
It's 1.5 settled in. Did open 3 some places, so it's come down.
Wait, you're saying the Colts are the favorite?
Sorry, yes, Colts.
Whoa,
Colts.
wait a minute. We'll talk about this next.
A numbers game on VSiN, the sports betting network.
Numbers game live from Circa Resort Casino, downtown Las Vegas. Once again, congratulations to Derek Stevens and everyone at Circa for starting their taking bets there in Missouri. Good for them.
Yeah.
No, Derek is out there right now.
To everybody in Missouri.
Yeah.
Make some bets.
And congratulations to everyone in Missouri. Exactly. We get tweets beating the book. Scola. He says, time for the matriculator. It's time for the matriculator. Which I'm told is a play on a house music song. It's time for the percolator.
Ah.
I did not know that. Did not know that. This is from JT Speed to Burn. You know what his comment was on the analytics thing? I knew there would be one of these. He said, analytics for dummies. If your team is good at going for two, excuse me. He goes, analytics for dummies. If your team is good at going for it, 4th and 2, go for it. If you suck at it, don't. Thanks, Speed to Burn. J&J Watering Hole. I do enjoy the analytics talk and agree it is never absolute. What I enjoy even more is the absolutely sure-to-come text from Fezzik telling you how wrong you are. So true.
Well, it was a simplistic tweet, but there are certain teams are gonna be better at it too, right?
You mentioned Detroit last year.
Like you think about Detroit in years past, and it was always Dan Campbell was crazy, right? He's going for it again. It's 4th and 3. It's like, well, okay, you have Jahmyr Gibbs, Montgomery, you got Laporta, all these great offensive weapons, and a great offensive coordinator in Ben Johnson. Yeah, you're gonna be a little bit better at it than most. And if you're the Houston Texans of this year, right, just to use, go back to your scenario of the 4th and 3, it's around midfield, should we punt it? Should we go for it? I might be more willing to punt it away and lean on my really good defense.
I bet Washington -1 earlier, Kelly. It's already -2.
Yeah, I'm in with you. Just grab some money line on the break.
And before we went to break, I guessed that the Jaguars would be 2.5-point favorites at home against the Colts in the battle for the lead in the AFC North. And I figured going below 3 was my nod to respect to the Colts.
I definitely wasn't distracted getting my Commanders bet in while you said this.
You tell me that the Colts are a 1.5-point road favorite.
Yes.
Now listen.
2 on the board here at Circa.
Nobody clowns the Jaguars and their mental mistakes any more than I do.
Yes, this is true.
But why are the Colts road favorites?
It's the Jags, man. That's all I've got for you.
That's an excellent explanation.
That's all I've got for you.
That's the kind of deep dive analysis I'm looking for.
Hey, what felt pretty right was Daniel Jones looking about 16% worse.
16.7% worse with a broken fibula? He sure did.
Oh, man.
Yeah. I mean, listen, it's not this massive, we're not going through any key numbers here in the difference, but I just don't understand why the Colts are road favorites.
I'm interested to see where that moves this week.
So I bet the Jags I bet the Jags plus 1.5.
It was early Jags money. I mean, there were some places that opened this two. I think it was 3 on the look ahead, and then reopened 2.5, and then everybody's kind of settled in at 1.5.
Okay, what do we got next?
Steelers at the Ravens.
Here's the other one. This is now. Is this an early window too, or
yes,
is this late?
Early window.
So you have both the battle for the AFC North lead and the AFC South lead. Pardon me, I said that about the Jags and the. I misspoke. I think Jags and Colts are the AFC South lead, obviously, and the Steelers and the Ravens are the AFC North lead. So they are concurrent. They're at the same time. That stinks.
The NFL's glad Gill Alexander's excited about this.
Well, it stinks that they're on. That I can't focus, right?
Yeah.
Pittsburgh 6
I don't know how
6.
excited I am for either game, though.
Pittsburgh 6-6 and Baltimore 6-6. And remember, the Bengals are lurking at 4-8. This is the first of 2 games, I believe, in a 3-week span between these two teams, if I'm not mistaken.
I believe that is correct.
All right. We already talked about both. Pittsburgh lost to Buffalo. Aaron Rodgers, looking every bit of his age, was 10 of 21 for 117. And Mason Rudolph came in there and went 0 for 3 with a pick. Is that good? The Steelers were outgained in that game by Buffalo, 372 to 166. 249 to 58 on the ground. As we said, that's the most rushing yards at Pittsburgh, Three Rivers or Acrisure, in 50 years. 249 to 58. And they were out time of possession, the Steelers were 41-59 to 18-01. Sheer domination, even though they led at the half. And then there's Baltimore. That game against the Bengals, they were -4 in turnovers on Thursday. They got out time of possession 38-46 to 21-14. Lamar was 17 of 32 for 246. He was sacked 3 times. He lost 2 fumbles, threw 1 pick. Okay, Baltimore was a 6-point favorite against the Bengals and lost at home. People still perceive the Steelers as a bit better than the Bengals, or at least maybe by a touch better than the Burrow-led Bengals, I would assume. And Baltimore lost that. So Baltimore, but Pittsburgh's not that good, right? After seeing them yesterday. So it can't go crazy down. But I would say Baltimore -4.5 when I put all that in the wash.
Yeah, I think your number makes more sense. Ravens 5.5 at DraftKings. There's a 6.5 at FanDuel, and a lot of 6s out there.
Really?
Yeah.
What have the Ravens done to be
nothing.
6-point favorites again?
Nothing. I think it's a good thought process by you. The other part that you didn't mention, though, it's not like the Ravens have done anything to been super impressive.
No, that's what I mean. What have the Ravens done to be 6-point favorites against anyone?
Do you have the stones, the cojones to actually go back to Pittsburgh Steelers though? Because
If I can find a 6, I will. Let me see.
There's a lot
here?
of 6s.
I see 5.5. Maybe I'll buy it up to the 6. Although Elihu might tell me that's not the right thing to do.
You've got a 6 right behind you.
Okay. Let me see if I can get one here on one of these outs. All right. Next.
All right, next up, 4:05 Eastern Broncos at Raiders.
I really don't understand those last two. I don't understand why the Colts are road favorites, and I don't understand how Baltimore is that big of a favorite. What did you say it was?
Broncos at Raiders.
All right, Broncos, we talked about Broncos in a thriller last night against Washington. Beat them in overtime, 27-26. Washington goes for 2. Jeremy McNichols open in the flat, but Mariota couldn't get it past Nick Bonito. What did Collinsworth say? That all Mariota could have done was just throw it high in the air.
Dude,
it got to McNichols.
I love plays like that, though, right? It was wide open. It was there. And he's going to make that pass. And Bonito, like, he kind of knows it, right? Like, you've got to stop that somehow.
There were so many, like, when we went over that game, again, so many bad calls that went against the Skins that even the broadcast team of Tirico and Collinsworth and Terry McCauley were like, why is that a false start on McLaurin? Why is that intentional grounding? All that stuff. But, however, the Commanders were picking the Broncos all game long and daring the refs to call it.
Yeah. I was okay with that one.
Denver at the Raiders, you said? Okay, Raiders game we didn't talk about. Raiders lose to the Chargers. Chargers, first time they got the ball, 14 plays, 74 yards, took 8:50 off the clock. Herbert to Johnston, Quentin Johnson from 10 out, 7-0, Chargé. Next time the Chargers got the ball, Trey Lance was in. Why? We find out that Justin Herbert's non-throwing hand, his left hand, was hurt. We later find out it's fractured.
Yeah.
But he's not going to miss any time. In fact...
Doesn't sound like it, right?
Well, in fact, Lance, from their own 7, he played basically half the drive, and then Justin Herbert came back in the game. 3rd and 10 at their own 46. They got to 1st and goal at the 2. Kamani Vidal for 1. Kamani Vidal loses 1, and then 3rd and goal at the 2. Herbert picked by Q Blue Kelley. Still 3-0. Excuse me, still 7-0. Vegas then from their own 2, second play, 2nd and 9 at their own 3. Geno intended for Dante Thornton, picked by Tony Jefferson. Amazing pick off a deflection, getting his knees down at the sideline. Then the Chargers set up at the Vegas 27, 4th and inches at the Las Vegas 18. Vidal stuffed by Devin White. It remains 7-0. Las Vegas from their own 18, 82 yards. Geno to Bowers for 24. Then 2 plays later, Geno to Brock Bowers from 6 out. We are tied at 7 at the half. Wow. And then it was all Chargers. 3rd play, 3rd quarter. Vidal from 59 out, touchdown, 14-7 Chargers. A couple drives later for the Chargers, 8 plays, 60 yards. Herbert to McConkey from 7 out. Lad McConkey, he's gone away I haven't heard his name in a while on this show. From 7 out, 21-7 Chargers, late 3rd quarter. And then Las Vegas ensuing drive, 4th and 1 at their own 43 with 55 seconds left in the quarter. They go for it. Genty hit for a 1-yard loss by Tui Pulotu.
Nailed it.
Dicker, 56-yard field goal to make it 24-7, early 4th quarter. And then Las Vegas from their own 35. 1st and goal at the 1. Geno trips over the center's feet. 2nd and goal at the 6. Geno to Bowers. Pass well short. Bowers with a sick one-handed, left-handed catch, scooping it impossibly for the touchdown, 24-14. But the Chargers would respond with a 13-play, 68-yard drive. Jarrett Patterson in from 2. 31-14 Chargers. That's how it would end after a 4-and-out for the Raiders. And again, on any other day, that Brock Bowers pass is the greatest catch of the league. It's probably 3rd at best.
Mm-hmm.
After the Puka Nacua and Treylon Burks catches yesterday.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, about 3rd. 3rd is the accurate ranking, yep.
The Raiders only had 12 first downs and were outgained 341-156.
Disaster.
I guess Denver's got to be they're on the road here at the Raiders, but the Raiders are terrible. The Broncos have got, I said Broncos minus 8.5. Would I bet the Broncos? No, because they win all these close games. Remember, they only beat the Raiders by 3 the first time.
Mm-hmm.
But I think the spread's going to have to be 8.5.
7.5, 8's on the board.
Yeah.
So you're close. And you know what? Not much, kind of what you just said. This is not much of a teaser consideration for me this week.
Nope. can't trust the Broncos.
Raiders
man.
team sucks, but yeah, Broncos offense, hard to trust.
Adam Burke's going to join us next hour. We got to talk college football. We got more games to get to, including the primetime games. Looking for value on a numbers game at VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
The numbers told the story, they always do.
It's one of those idiots who believe in analytics.
This is a numbers game with Gill Alexander on VSiN.
Our number 3 of a numbers game at VSiN, the Sports Betting Network, VSiN.com, Game Plus, iHeartRadio, YouTube TV, and of course, Sirius XM Channel 158. It's Gill Alexander. That right there is Kelley Bydlon, everybody. And I want you to know that this hour is sponsored by Better. Better Picks is the daily fantasy sports app where your sports betting knowledge turns into real cash fast. Download Better, that's B-E-T-R, Better, or visit better.app now, BETR.app now. Sign up today, get a free $10, no deposit necessary. So we appreciate the new sponsor aboard here on the program. We get tweets at Beating the Book. Brian Young at Notorious Guns. Nothing better than a good Kelley Bydlon rant about intentional grounding to start the week off. This is why I love a numbers game. On behalf of Kelley, you're very welcome.
It pisses me off so much. Every week, I'm sitting on the couch and I go, at least once every week, that should be grounding or that shouldn't be grounding, and they're calling it. It's usually, though, that should be grounding.
Fairway Fred, talking about the Megapod, he says there would not have been a Celtic Sun stories for Brent Musburger if there hadn't been a Rick Barry, Ricky Sobers incident, Game 6 Western Conference Finals, the untold story off air at Circa, January 26th. I guess it'll be here January 26th. Dan Cobalt, missing details. Oh, yes. Thank you for filling in the blanks on this, Dan. Because the crowd in Indy was so upset after I talked about the extra point that may or may not have gone over the upright. Dan Cobalt says, missing details from that Texans was 3rd and 15 prior to the missed PAT called good. The Texans snapped the 3rd and 15 play a couple of beats after the play clock at 0. Receiver fell down on his own without being touched. Flag for DPI. Oh, it's brutal. That's exactly right. I left out that part. So that was consecutive plays that seemed to go in the Texans' favor, and they were not happy in Indianapolis. Jason H11, thoughts on a Seahawks -2 and Jags plus 7.5 teaser? I like it.
I like it.
Jesse Welch, when it comes to the uncatchable ball, I go back to what I heard a ref say one time, which is, quote, these are the single greatest athletes in the world. Who am I to judge what they can and cannot go up and get if they weren't impeded? So true. Tim Lawson at The Better Life, something no one can prepare you for. Oh, we say this every year. Probably should have said it earlier. He says something no one can prepare you for is how empty the next set of games can feel after you've been eliminated from Survivor. Eliminated with the Ravens on Thanksgiving, and yesterday's games might as well not even have happened. I hear you, man. That's how I feel right after your Survivor season is done.
It's brutal. It's brutal. I'm stuck on that. Was that Jesse Welch that tweeted that?
No, that's Tim Lawson. Better Life.
No. Before about the
uncatchable was
ball.
Jesse Welch.
So Jesse, I hear you.
Sorry, Tim. Kelley's still thinking about Jesse.
Tim's absolutely right. I'm thinking about Jesse still. Yes, I am. Jesse, I hear you. But some of these you got to be 25 feet tall.
That's correct. Yes.
To have a chance.
This is from Canarsie Born 65, Todd, who says, do you think that team... Oh, this is a great point, too. You guys are the best. Have I mentioned you guys are the best? He goes, do you think that teams that go for 2 in the first half because of a defensive penalty use their second best 2-point play, saving their best for an end-of-game situation? If yes, they should just kick the extra point. Thoughts? So I don't know about that part, but I have said many times that one of the biggest tricks played on offenses is when there is a defensive penalty that brings the ball from the 2 to the 1, every one of these, with rare exception, now like, well, we got to go for 2 now. And they fail, and they end up without the point, let alone the 2 points.
You texted me about this a couple weeks ago, and this is like one of those, I do not have the data on it, but of just what does it feel like? It feels like 87% of the time when they accept the penalty and they go for it, they don't get it.
87. That is the exact same percentage that Lombardi would throw when he'd be like, when you miss a field goal, the other team scores 87% of the time. You're like, all right, Michael, sure.
This is what it feels like, though, right? To your point, it's like every time they take the penalty and they do, it's 1 yard line, we got to go for it. It's always, maybe it is. Maybe it's their 5th best play they're running and has no chance.
Jack Olaquire, Gill is a lifelong Bears fan. Friday was the first time hoping they'd lose. I'm sure my dad, looking down from above, finally decided to punish my brothers for that lousy pair of socks for his Father's Day gift back in 1963. Karma sucks. Oh, I guess because you were on Philly, I guess, Jack, is what you're saying, in Survivor. By the way, Patriots added center Garrett Bradbury to the injury report with an illness.
Yeah, it's big.
He's questionable for tonight's game against the Giants. Will that move a line? Probably not. But from a football acumen standpoint, that might mean something to a lot of bettors.
Yeah,
anyway.
talking about a couple offensive linemen they're going to be missing now.
Yeah. Giants are feisty. 7 points is where that's at right now. Before we move back into pro football and the rest of the games and talk to Adam Burke here momentarily, just to sort of talk about college football as well, because I don't want to go the whole Monday show without addressing. Oh, by the way, one more thing. Adam Schefter, Chargers Justin Herbert, just a follow-up to what we're saying about Justin Herbert, told reporters that even without having to undergo a procedure today on his fractured left hand, he's treating next Monday night's game versus the Eagles as if he's playing.
Good for you, Herbert.
I love it.
I give you more crap than anybody.
Yes, you do.
Because you deserve it more than you're given. But that's pretty awesome. He's getting surgery today, Gill. And he's like, no, I'll be there. I'll play.
I'll be there. I know it's not my throwing hand, but, it's busted up. He's a football player. He's playing. So Lane Kiffin is going to LSU, which, as Chris Felica told us on Friday, by the way, he's being coy about it. So I immediately...
Felica was all over it.
He was
Friday,
all over it. And I immediately took the cash out on my Kalshi bet, so I got like 25 cents on the dollar, which...
Could have been worse.
Could have been worse if Felica wasn't on the show.
Exactly.
He told us it was absolutely happening. He gone, I believe was his exact words. And then it dragged out over the course of the weekend as if we were electing a new pope. And I texted Will, I'm like, I'm sorry, is this a new pope being elected, or is this a never got close to a national championship coach who is going from like one school to another and it just has no business being dragged out this long? It's ridiculous. So he ends up, delaying the whole thing because apparently Lane Kiffin wanted his cake and wanted to eat it too. He was a real schmuck in all of this, by the way, because he ends up just saying at the end, in his statement to Ole Miss, he blames the same management, right? The same brass that basically saved his reputation 6 years ago. He just threw him under the bus. It was the equivalent of a guy leaving his wife and kids for another socialite wife and kids and wanting to go on the last family vacation before leaving that family, and the ex-wife now saying, you can't go on this vacation with us, and then him getting the kids to hate you as he plays victim and he goes to the other family.
Also,
it's just so ridiculous, this guy.
Isn't the easy blame here, isn't just blame college football?
Yes.
With how it's set up?
I was getting there. This is the problem, right? For all this talk of all these years, the kids shouldn't be paying this. The way that this is going down now is so bad. This is such a blight on college football. Such a blight that he is leaving a team that potentially, right, could win a national championship. And here's where we are with this, again, quote unquote, right, it's in quote, sport. Because it's not a sport. It's just absolute mercenary from the committee to Sankey, who runs the whole show, is always bitching about transfer portals and what's going to happen if we pay the kids and all this stuff. Never a whisper about this kind of thing, right? And this will be the first of several, I would imagine. This won't be the last time this happens.
It's just from a timing standpoint, like once I've had it explained to me a couple times, Gill, I get it. I get it. Like you got National Signing Day coming up.
Yeah.
Recruiting purposes, you've got to be in-house. You've got old free agency with the NIL is going to be opened up before the Ole Miss would get through the college football
100%
playoffs.
Right. And Lane Kiffin, even more stupid, thinking, oh, yeah, my school should let me hang out with my players so I can further recruit them and take them over to my other team in conference.
At the end of the day, I am not surprised because of the way college football is set up. I'm not surprised by the timing. And yes, guess what? If you're going to leave, no, you don't get to stick around.
No,
this is no company. You don't quit a company and then they're like, yeah, hang around, collect our data.
Now to the real stuff, the actual playoff. Which again, we have championship week. We got 9 games this week, right? And then we go to Army Navy, and then we're into the playoff, the 12-team playoff. So there's a couple categories here. The one category is Duke is in the ACC championship against Virginia. 5-loss Duke. They're like a 3-point dog. If they win the ACC championship as a 5-loss team, there's the one category of people saying, it's like, I don't think Duke should really get to the championship. And remember, it's only the 5 best conference champions. So the ACC could be out if Duke beats Virginia. And we could have 2 group of 5s, right? We could have James Madison and James Madison and who am I forgetting? It was James Madison from the Sun Belt, and then from the American, we could have North Texas. We could have James Madison and North Texas in the 12-team playoff if Duke wins. That's a distinct possibility. So that's the first mishugas with all this. Like, what are we doing that those two teams are taking up 2 of the 12 spots? But that's mechanical because we've already had the rule about the 5 best conference champions. That could happen. The other thing, which I feel like the entire college football media and coaches and all this entire establishment is putting their heads in the sand about, their heads in the ground about, is there's a scenario here where teams that they acted like when they won their last game, I'm talking about Ole Miss, I'm talking about Oklahoma, I'm talking about Notre Dame. There's a scenario here where one of these teams is not going to make the playoff. Namely, if Bama wins the SEC championship, only that's a tightly lined game. Now, the other one is, though, and the bigger one is, if BYU beats Texas Tech in the Big 12 championship game, it's a disaster. Regardless of what happens with the ACC Group of 5 thing, it's a disaster for college football because you literally have these coaches, right? Whether it's Oklahoma, whether it's Ole Miss, whether it's Notre Dame, acting like, oh, we're in. The announcers, you're in Ole Miss, you're in Notre Dame, whatever. Nope. If that happens, if Bama and BYU win their respective conference championships, you'll have Ohio State, Indiana, Texas A&M, Texas Tech, Georgia, Oregon, BYU, and Alabama, plus either 2 G5s or the 1 G5 in the ACC, and then only 2 spots left for the Notre Dame, Ole Misses, and Oklahomas of the world. Forget about Vandy, Texas, and Miami. There's no chance for them. So literally one of these schools could be bounced, and the entire college football establishment is acting like this can't happen. It can absolutely happen, and I think everybody missed that over the weekend. It felt like to me. Could be disaster scenario. Coming up, Adam Burke on that and more. It's a numbers game right here at VSiN, the Sports Bet.
A numbers game on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
Don't forget, it is Cyber Monday, Kelly. Cyber Monday.
Yes. Christmas shop.
Still part of our Black Friday special, though. It's live. For just $60, you get full VSiN Pro access to everything we offer all the way through May 1st. That includes daily best bets from VSiN hosting guests, real-time betting splits from DraftKings, Circa, and Brocco, AI-powered prop tools, and weekly wide receiver cornerback matchup edges, 24/7 video and replays on the VSiN Watch app, coverage of every major sport through the spring, from football and hoops to March Madness, the NFL Draft, and the Masters. Our biggest new subscriber offer of the year is here. Don't wait. Go to VSiN.com/subscribe now. That's VSIN.com/subscribe. Continuing, wrapping up that conversation, not even conversation, that rant that I just had about college football missing this disaster scenario where I said they all have their heads in the sand about it. But let's just take that scenario again where Bama wins the SEC championship. And by the way, that one might not even matter as much because they'll try to figure out a way to put Bama in anyway. But let's say so that they have no choice. Bama wins the SEC and BYU upsets Texas Tech. Because if BYU loses again to Texas Tech, all these they're going to keep BYU out of it because it's all unfair and they don't treat BYU like they treat the other teams.
You're not Alabama.
There's nobody in there to defend BYU, right? That's just, again, it's not a sport. Stop telling me it's a sport. Ever since they kept FSU out two years ago, it's an exhibition. It's an invitational. It's not a sport. We would never apply the same logic to things in actual sports. But the point that I'm trying to make with all that is, okay, so let's say BYU wins the Big 12, Bama wins the SEC. You have 2 spots left for this group of Vandy, Texas, Miami, which I don't think any of those 3 will get in, and then Ole Miss, Notre Dame, and Oklahoma, which everybody on TV was saying, oh, they're absolutely in, all these 3 teams. So who do you keep out at that point? And if it's, I'm just saying, Ole Miss is the one where Lane Kiffin's not there, right? And I know it's a coach and not a player, right? But y'all kept FSU out 2 years ago when you're down to your 3rd-string quarterback and acted like that was correct.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it will punish the kids, but you punish the FSU kids. I'm just saying, you can apply the same logic here on that. I am so rooting for chaos. I want
chaos. There we go, Gill. There we go. Get on the side of chaos.
I want mayhem. I want pandemonium. I want this to be an utter disaster. Adam Burke joins us now, courtesy of the Progressive Guest Line at Skating Tripods. Adam, you said something off air, which I think crystallizes the whole thing. First of all, good morning to you. How are you?
Morning. I'm doing good. I mean, there's a lot to talk about, obviously, at this time of the year. And, hey, thanks for promoting that Black Friday special as well, because that's definitely the best offer that we have over at vsin.com for sure throughout the course of the year.
Absolutely is. You were saying you think, just wrapping up that conversation, that the product, that the reason all of this is happening is because the announcers themselves don't really understand the whole situation because it's such a moving target?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, look, there's a lot of ways you can manipulate this, right? And you know this as well as I do. You can manipulate statistics as much as you want to. You can use whatever you want to support your personal case. Everybody on that college football playoff committee has some sort of conference affiliation or something like that. So that's something that can factor into the equation as well. And then just simply the fact that, the target moves, right? I mean, this is something that is not objective, it's subjective. And so, you're kind of guessing what the committee is going to do. And some of these mainstream broadcasters that cover the sport, they have no idea either. So they're just going to kind of say whatever narrative makes sense, whatever pops in their head, whatever's convenient to say at the time. And it could be a very, very, misleading type of statement or sentiment. And so, I mean, look, if we get chaos, we get chaos, and I won't be completely surprised. But remember, this is a TV show first and foremost. So you think about the Ole Miss, Oklahoma,
TV show.
Notre Dame discussion, all of that, right? I mean, for Ole Miss, this is very compelling TV now, right? They lose Lane Kiffin. Are they still as good as they were going to be? Pete Golding takes over. Seems like the program and the kids that are still there love him, So, I mean, are they more compelling than Oklahoma? Absolutely they are.
Yeah.
No offense to the Sooners. Their offense isn't any good. Defensively, they're great.
Yeah.
So I'm curious to see how this all plays out, but first and foremost, this is a TV show and a very, very lucrative one at that. And that's what we'll need to keep in mind as we go throughout this entire week.
TV show first.
I've been getting the Lane Kiffin has been giving me very much the off-season NBA vibes, which it's one of the greatest reality TV shows on the planet. So I'm here for it, fellas. I'm here for it. This is fun.
9 conference championship games. Do you have a play at any of them, Adam?
Yeah, I mean, there's a few. I think, we're going to avoid kind of the group of 5 discussion with the second group of 5 team. I think Virginia beats Duke. I mean, these two teams just played a few weeks ago, and Virginia took them to the woodshed. I mean, it was a 34-17 game. It wasn't even that close. So I think Virginia is going to take care of their affairs here against Duke. I've actually kind of come around on this Virginia team a little bit throughout the course of the season where, they had some very lucky wins, and they had some great fumble luck and, excuse me, stuff like that. But that was a 31-3 game last week or 3 weeks ago entering the fourth quarter. Virginia outgained it by nearly 300 yards. Like that line was way too short at 2.5, 3. So I played that. It's out to 3.5 now. I like Kennesaw State against Jacksonville State. I think this line has kind of moved where it should now in the Conference USA title game. I had Kennesaw State a short favorite despite being on the road in this one. I think that that's right, even though they lost the first meeting between the two teams during the regular season. I think Kennesaw State deserves to be favored, and I think that one's kind of moved to where it should now. They were -4 in turnover margin in that game. Still had 579 yards of offense. So I took Kennesaw State as a short dog on Sunday night. And then, like I said, I took Virginia. So I don't think we'll get to have the James Madison discussion because Virginia should win, but stranger things have happened, I guess.
Stranger things have happened. Yeah. I mean, obviously, there's also a scenario where it just falls into the lap of the committee, right? Where BYU loses to Texas Tech, Virginia beats Duke, so you only have one group of 5. Everybody neatly fits into it. There's that scenario as well. I'm just hoping it doesn't happen. College basketball, not the most robust schedule today. Did you have anything, though?
Yeah, not at all. I think there's 12 games today, and one of them's already underway. South Carolina State and Chicago State, big-time barn burner there with a noon tip-off. But the only game that I played, I laid the big number with Xavier here tonight, -27.5 against St. Francis. So St. Francis is a team that made the NCAA tournament last year, and then their head coach resigned because the program decided they were going to drop down from Division I to Division III. So there was a mass exodus of players. They just kind of elevated an assistant coach who was willing to fall on the sword and take the job. But as bad as St. Francis is, they're still willing to play at a pretty high tempo. And Xavier's a team that shot the 3 very, very well. They're a positive regression candidate on 2-point shots in a very big way. St. Francis does not take care of the basketball at all whatsoever. I guess it'll be a blowout for sure. Obviously, the line implies that, but I do think Xavier could win by 30 plus in this game. So I laid the Musketeers minus 27.5.
All right, college basketball tonight. Xavier against St. Francis, PA. 27.5 point spread in that one. All right, to the National Football League, Week 14. Actually, first of all, tonight, do you have any plays on tonight's game between the Patriots and the Giants?
No, nothing tonight, but I think there is something worth pointing out in this game, though, because I do a first touchdown article every week over at vsin.com where, I have a tracker, a spreadsheet that our executive producer, Stephanie Kamershak, put together when she was doing the article, passed it on to me. I've kept up the spreadsheet and all of that. I think it's really, really, really fascinating that the Patriots have only scored the first touchdown in 3 of their 12 games this season. So this is a team that does kind of play from behind early on in the game. So I think if you like New England here tonight, instead of laying the 7, see if the Giants, who, by the way, have scored the first touchdown in 9 of their 12 games this season, see if maybe the Giants score first. Mike Kafka seems to have a really good scripted drive, almost regardless of who's at quarterback for this team. So if you like New England, I would kind of wait. If you like the Giants, maybe you play it kind of right away. And then maybe look to lock in, some kind of middle, something like that with New England live. But I thought it was fascinating that New England has been so good from a wins and losses standpoint while failing to score the first touchdown in 9 of their 12 games.
All right, Week 14 slate. You took a glance at that, I'm sure. Maybe you've made it better too. What do you like?
Well, I like the fact that the Browns are favored because it means I can take Tennessee plus 3.5. The Browns, just my God, the things that you witness, the things that you watch with this team, they had 4.5 yards per carry against the 49ers, who are borderline top 10 run defense. They held San Francisco completely in check, and they still lost the game by 3 possessions. It is incredible how awful this team is in so many different facets, how great the defense is, and how it just doesn't seem to matter more often than not. I'll take Tennessee plus 3.5 in that game. I'm sure the weather's going to be bad in Cleveland again. It is every weekend at this time of the year. But I'll take Tennessee plus the 3.5 there. I think that the Browns, whether subtly or not so subtly, are in full-fledged tank mode, and there's a lot of good reasons to lose this football game this weekend. So I'll take Tennessee plus 3.5. It's one of my, I don't know if I'd say favorite plays, but also I think Jacksonville outright as a money line dog here is the play. Indianapolis is just kind of falling apart a little bit.
Agreed.
Daniel Jones is clearly hurt, not nearly as mobile. That kind of limits what they can do offensively with moving pockets and stuff like that. Give me the Jags on the money line.
Not sold on Dylan Gabriel or Shadur Sanders, Adam? Is that what I'm hearing?
No.
Quarterback of the future,
Absolutely
not on
not.
the roster?
No, definitely not.
All right.
Bernie Kosar might be a better quarterback right now.
Wow.
Might be.
All the best to Bernie, by
Yeah.
the way. Thank you, Adam. Appreciate it.
Have a good one, guys.
Adam Burke at Skating Tripods on the old Twitter machine. We got more games to get to. Week 14, we got to hustle. Next, on a numbers game right here at Visa.
A numbers game on VSiN, the sports betting network.
Think you know sports? Start getting paid for it with Better Picks, the daily fantasy sports app where your sports knowledge turns into cash. Sign up today and get a free $10, no deposit needed. When you do deposit, you get a $50 deposit match up to $200. Download Better, that's BETR, in the App Store or Google Play, or head to better.app, betr.app. Use promo code VSIN for your free $10 and deposit bonus. We get tweets at Beating the Book. This is from, Grayson Rossi. I 100% agree with you on the Kiffin shouldn't coach Ole Miss situation. However, Tulane is letting Summerall coach Tulane, and if they beat North Texas, they're in the playoff. Just means more in the SEC, I guess. Yeah. T. Sheldall, what would you set the line at for teams 10-7 or better to miss the playoffs? Seems like a couple good teams are going to miss this year. Well, I got into there was a Bears fan who took umbrage. I like when people take umbrage. You never give umbrage. You just take it. He took umbrage. He's like, when the Bears, he's like, what does it feel now? Gill missed the playoffs plus 155. And I'm like, he goes, there's no way they're losing to, and he goes through the rest of the schedule. I'm like, you seem to think that they like can't absolutely miss the playoffs still. They absolutely can. And they're 9-3. They are not in any way, even as the number one seed right now with all these games left, they're in no way safe. None of these teams are. So to answer your question, I think there's going to be a bunch of 9-8s that miss,
Yeah.
or at least a few that miss, and there might be a 10-7 or 2.
You got 4 teams in the NFC with 3 losses. You've got 2 more with 4, and 3 more with 5.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. We'll see. We'll see how it shakes out because it's always interesting to see. This will not be a year when an 11-6 misses, for instance, right? But could there be a 9-8 that misses or 2? Absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely.
Coach Harry Ellis. Remember, the committee doesn't watch any football after like 4 Eastern on Saturday. They're with their families at the Gaylord, which is a massive Christmas-themed hotel outside Dallas. They'll submit their final rankings based on various scenarios, walk the hotel, then go to the exquisite steakhouse in the basement. Also, Coach Harry Ellis has a problem with me taking 25 cents on the dollar on my Lane Kiffin bet after Felica told us that he wasn't staying. Don't be an idiot, Harry Ellis. Don't kowtow to other idiots on Twitter. Mariners Geek, how come there are no fill-in refs? Oh, this is a great question. How come there are no fill-in refs when one of them goes down? We have now seen officiating crews be short multiple times recently. One person who lives in the city should always be at the game and take the easiest officiating position in case of official injury. So we've had, that happened last night too. The umpire goes down. Was it the umpire that went down? Yeah. And we had in the other game, we had the referee go down, and the umpire had to take the ref's position. But they don't fill the umpire spot. They just sort of double their duty. Yeah. Billion-dollar organization.
What's really dumb is, you remember they do have those for the playoffs. There are backups on site for the playoffs. So regular season. What are you about to say? $1 trillion company can't figure this out?
Poke Therapy. He's talking to me and Burke here. Or maybe he's talking to Burke. He says, you have clearly never watched the Titans play football this season. The Browns are going to murder the Titans. I've been saying this for months. They're the worst team in history. Browns will be my survivor play this week. Poke Therapy. Are you in Circa Survivor? Would you really play the Browns? Come on. I hear what you're saying. If anything, I'm on the Brown side too, but come on.
I mean, the total is 33, Gill. They're 3.5, 4-point favorites.
Torch D.
It's a lot of love for the Browns.
Torch D, the one who put the satin in your panties. Gill, I'm sick of humans. They can't pick playoff teams. They measure first downs with chains, for God's sakes. Bring on the AI. Automate everything. I laughed. There was a guy on Twitter.
Yes.
There was a guy on Twitter like a month ago said to me,
Yes.
Gill, you don't know what you're talking about with college football. It's all in formula. There's no choices being made. What are you talking? I didn't even respond. Like, what are you talking about? It's all subjective. Every bit of it. Which is why this is let's see, I missed one here. Oh, I don't know. It went away. Anyway, someone was challenging me on one of the matters too. It's all subjective because they were saying, the FSU thing isn't the same thing. They were saying the committee got to see them play without Jordan Travis, so they had a data point, so they knew FSU was bad. Think about what you're saying though. Like, what other sport would you apply this logic to? So what? The data point is that it's all subjective, and that's all nonsense, is the data point. All right, we've gone rants on 2-point conversions, on college football. What else?
Intentional grounding.
Intentional grounding. Let's get back to the games. What do you got?
4:25 Eastern, Bears at Packers.
Bears at Packers. Huge game for
Massive.
the lead in the NFC North. We have games for the lead of 3 divisions this week. The 9-3 Bears, the 8-3-1 Packers. Caleb was 17 of 36 for 154 on Friday. Monungai, 22 for 130 and a touchdown. The Bears outgained the Eagles 425 to 317. On the ground, they outgained them 281 to 87.
It was wild.
That's
bananas.
the Eagles, the Philadelphia Eagles, who, if I'm not mistaken, special numbers investigation reveals, they are the Super Bowl champions who were led by Saquon Barkley and Jalen Hurts last year.
Bears rolled in and clowned you.
39-18 to 20-42 in time of possession. And then Jordan Love against the Lions, 18 of 30 for 234, 4 touchdowns, no picks. Micah had 2.5 sacks. We talk about Jordan Love for a second?
Yeah, he's either real good or real bad.
Poker face. You have no
Yes,
idea.
we have no idea.
You have no idea what just happened. Was it a good play? Was it a bad play? Same expression. Now, I want to say this to Packers fans. That works well when things are going well for you. But I always bring up Robinson Cano and Camilo Doval. When Camilo Doval is the Giants closer and things are going well and you have no reaction to everything, people love you. But as soon as they start going bad and you have no reaction, it's not so good. Mm-hmm. Robinson Cano, same thing. Hey, when you're Robinson Cano for the Yankees, you're nonchalanting everything, body language, that's great. But all of a sudden when you're hitting whatever you're hitting, 140 with the Mets, I know it's probably a little higher than that, not so good. So I worry about that with Jordan Love, just from an impression standpoint. Green Bay minus 3.5 is my guess. At home against the Bears.
You are light. We are Green Bay 6.5.
Whoa!
Yep. This has been a little bit on the move here this morning.
Green Bay is a 6.5 point favorite. Is Wayne Brady going to have to bet the Chicago Bears?
Have some fun, buddy. 5.5 opened most places yesterday. We're up to 6.5 now.
I think I'm going to have to bet the Bears.
I mean, I would like to say there'll be resistance at 7, but I don't know. I don't know. Based off of this movement, you need to rush either.
Nope. Don't think I need to rush, but I could be on the Bears.
I mean, everywhere has jumped up to 6.
See, Bears fans, I love you. What's next?
I made a Bears bet a couple weeks ago, too. Yeah. We're not completely anti.
No, it's not about anti. It's about where's the value.
Our tickets did not work out very well, though. Not a good start. That's fair. All right. Next up, we have 4:25 Eastern, Rams at Cardinals.
Rams at Cardinals. Rams, we didn't talk about that game. Rams and the Panthers, maybe. I mean, that took out 4 survivors. Imagine being the survivors who got through the Thanksgiving gauntlet and then 3 days later, 2 days in the case of the Eagles game, you lose your entry on the Rams. That's a special kind of keisterization, as Todd would say.
Involving one of the most confusing teams over the past couple years that's ever existed in the history of the NFL.
Ever. The Carolina Panthers
they're
were referred
pretty
to.
good at home for some reason. I can't tell if Bryce Young's good, bad, somewhere in between.
Oh, man. Referring to the 7-6 Panthers, who beat the Rams. Roddy Rivers returns the kickoff, 46 yards to start the game. Unnecessary roughness tacked on. They're set up at the Carolina 35. 6 plays. Stafford to Devontae from 4 out. 7-0 Rams, less than 3 minutes in. Stafford's 28th touchdown pass without a pick. A new record.
Yeah.
You're like, it's going to be a
My
rout.
MVP ticket looks great, Gill.
And Carolina comes right back. 9 plays, 69 yards. Bryce to Chuba Hubbard for 35. Dead sprint to the end zone. 7-7 halfway through the first. Then the Rams, big 32-yard hookup. Stafford to Devontae, but 5 plays later, just after breaking the record of most touchdown passes without a pick at 28. 3rd and 6 of the Carolina 8. Stafford pass deflected up in the air, picked by Nick Scott in the end zone. Yikes. First pick by Stafford in 10 weeks. Wow. Next time the Rams have the ball, 2nd and 10 at their own 41. Stafford, picked by Mike Jackson, who stepped in front of Nakua. 48 yards to the house, 14-7 Carolina. 1:27 left in the first quarter. First time the Rams had trailed a game since week 6. Is that true? Wow. I couldn't have made that up. Rams, 7 plays, 64 yards. Stafford to Xavier Smith for 27 to start. To Devontae from 7 out. We're tied at 14 apiece early second quarter. Later, it'll be 17-14 Carolina. Late in the first half, Rams will go 7 plays, 80 yards. Stafford to Xavier Smith for 51, the big play. 4 plays later, Corum in from 2, 21-7, ramifications, halftime. Second half, first time with the ball, Carolina, 10 plays, 71 yards. 4th and 3 at the Rams 33, Bryce, perfect pass to Jalen Coker, touchdown, 24-21, Kakalaki, 8:48 left in the third quarter. Later, Corum for the Rams, great 34-yard run to start. 4 plays later, Stafford to Nakua, insane catch. The best catch of the day, better than Burks, better than Bowers, better than Downs. Next play, Kyron in from 7, 28-24 Rams with 9:58 left. And then Carolina, 6 plays, 65 yards. 4th and 2 at the Rams 43. Bryce to Ted McMillan behind the D-back. Emmanuel Forbes, what are you doing? 43 yards to Pater. 31-28 Panthers with 6:34 left. Rams get it to 3rd and 10 at the Carolina 22 with 2:34 left. Stafford sacked by Derek Brown, fumbles. DJ Wanham recovers it. Carolina from their own 34 with 2:25 left. Rams only have 2 timeouts. 3rd and 5 at their own 39. Bryce to Coker for 10. Ball game at the 2-minute warning. What an upset. Carolina beats the Rams. I'll say the Rams are 7-point favorites at Arizona, though.
It is big. 7.5, 8 right now is where you're looking at.
Oh,
most
even
places.
more. Wow.
Actually, it's on the rise. Basically 8s and some 8.5s out there. I teased down Rams.
We'll recap all the bets and a couple more to get to next.
A numbers game on VSiN, the sports betting network.
Back on a numbers game, live from Circle Resort Casino, downtown Las Vegas. Gill Alexander, Kelley Bydlon, Kelley Bydlon on the old Twitter machine. We get tweets that be in the book. This is from, let's see here, we got here. This is from the great Swami Gator. If it wasn't subjective, there'd be no polls. Great point. I don't know if he's being sarcastic with me or not. It's not the point that there's not polls or anything. Again, I don't know. College football people are so locked into their mode of thinking that they've become so entrenched in this notion that being subjective is somehow okay, and then they try to talk themselves into a thing. This doesn't apply to any other actual sport. You don't get to be subjective, right? There's a bracket, and we play to the bracket because there are established rules beforehand to determine if you get to be in the bracket, right? If you win a division, if you're one of the 3 best teams that didn't win a division per conference, right? There's actual rules. There are no rules in college football. None. So you could be as subjective as you want, and you could act like these things are okay, but they're just not. Don't act like it's a sport in the end. Vegas Regular was talking to me about the FSU thing. That was the guy who was talking about the FSU thing. It doesn't come down to whether I like something or not, of a team or not. It's just, again, the fact that everyone has become so entrenched in our psyche about college football that everyone then argues these things as if it's, oh yeah, no, this has always been the case, so it's all right. I just don't understand the level of thinking on this. Daytime degenerate. Let's see, what's this all now? Daytime degenerate, responding to something else. Talk about Darryl Stingley. Derek Stingley. His dad was Darryl Stingley, or his Derek Stingley of the Texans has allowed last 6 games. Ready for this? Next gen stats. 0 yards, 0 yards, 11 yards, 9 yards, 30 yards, 7 yards.
Yeah, that's not bad.
He's allowed 5 reception on 19 targets during that span. Good on him. Good on him. 3Jack H3131 requesting an immediate A&G investigation into the Michael Jackson-like sound Gill made during the Rams breakdown.
I have very much enjoyed it.
Giuseppe Betta, Gill's tee has me cackling on the ride to work. Michael Jackson would even give you props on that one. Bravo. Why do you think Michael Jackson came up with that sound?
Oh, I have no idea.
Here's the bets that I've made during guessing lines. We still have 2 more games to get to. Do we want to recap the bets first or get to the next 2 games? Maybe we should get to the next 2 games.
Let's do the games.
All right, let's do the games.
Sunday Night Football, Texans at Chiefs.
Sunday night, Texans at Chiefs, 7-5 Texans still in it. In the AFC South, a game behind both the Colts and the Jaguars. And the Chiefs at 6-6, code red. 4 behind the Broncos in the AFC West. Well, they're not winning that. Right? But also on the outside looking in on the playoff position, on the playoff picture, as the number 10 seed right now in the wild card race, on the outside looking in, the proverbial must-win situation. Houston Texans yesterday, Stroud, 22 of 35 for 276. Collins, 5 catches for 98 yards. Patrick Mahomes, 23 of 34 for 261. 4 touchdowns, no picks, sacked 3 times. Rashee Rice, 8 catches for 92 yards, 2 touchdowns. In the Chiefs' loss to the Cowboys on Thursday. Houston at Kansas City. I will say Kansas City minus 4.5.
3.5 opened a lot of places for 4.5, so it's come down a little bit. Texans taking some money.
Monday night, we have the Eagles at the Chargers. Wow. 8-4 Eagles. Extra rest here at the 8-4 Chargers. Chargers still have designs on the AFC West, 2 behind the Broncos. Chiefs have the Cowboys in the rearview mirror. That object is getting larger. Cowboys game and a half back. 8-4 versus 8-4. Jalen Hurts, 19 of 34 for 230, and the Eagles lost to the Bears on Friday. Lost a fumble. A.J. Brown, 10 catches for 132 and 2 touchdowns. They were outgained once again by Chicago. 425 to 317, 281 to 87 on the ground, and a massive time of possession disadvantage. The Chargers yesterday against the Raiders. Herbert, 15 of 20 for 151. Didn't have to do much. Broke his non-throwing hand. Kamani Vidal, 25 carries for 126 yards. Jarrett Patterson from Buffalo. There you are. 11 carries for 54 yards and a touchdown. That's a perfect Jim Harbaugh game. Massive yardage on the ground. Outgained the Raiders on the ground 192 to 31. Held Las Vegas to 12 first downs and outgained them 341 to 156. Eagles at the Chargers. I'll say Eagles minus 1.5.
Opened 1.5, 2. We're out to flat 3s on the Eagles side. I think a lot of people rushing that because of the Herbert news, but says he's going to play.
He's playing. Played yesterday. Playing on Monday. He's operating as if he's playing.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes, we should state that.
But you wanted
Justin Herbert can get surgery. We can say all he wants before he gets surgery. But yes, the team might feel otherwise afterward.
Okay. Recapping the bets then. I have made 3 of them and considering a 4th. The 3 that I made during the exercise today are, in order, Commanders was the first thing I did. Commanders -1 at Minnesota. Literally, but within 15 minutes of that, they had already gone up to -2 where I had bet it. Commanders -1 at the Vikings. Then the Jaguars +1.5 versus the Colts. I just don't understand why the Colts are road favorites in that game. Don't get it at all. And then Wayne Brady's going to have to bet the Steelers, and he did. Steelers +6 at the Ravens. A little extra juice on that at -119. Do I love the Steelers? I do not. Do I look forward to living through that bet? I do not. Do you like people who ask questions and then answer right afterwards? I do not. But I'd made the bet. And the only other one I'm considering is the Bears. But as you said, Kelley, I could probably wait and get a better number on that.
Yeah, I would keep track of that one today.
Why are the Packers that big of a favorite against the Bears? Curious. And I bet the Cowboys to win the NFC East on Friday during the Eagles game. The Eagles were marching down the field, but they were trailing the Bears at the time. I still couldn't believe there was a 10-1 out there on the Cowboys to win the East, so I grabbed it. You, sir.
Yeah, I am there with the Cowboys with you. We bet that on Friday, put it in the site on Friday. In on that, I need the Patriots here tonight to close out my last Seahawks teaser of the week, and then a couple NBA plays. Bucks laid the 8.5. Earlier this morning, Magic laid 8.5 actually just now as that number is starting to move. Looks like Kobe White is doubtful for the game tonight. NFL for next week, Commanders money line. I'm in there with you on that one. Saints Bucks under 43. And then I've got Seahawks again in two different teasers, Seahawks and Bucks and Seahawks and Rams, and then Texans Chiefs under 42.5.
Like it. Firing away.
The Berkster's got a few.
The Berkster. He's on a couple conference championship games. He is going to say that Duke doesn't win the ACC, a 5-loss Duke Blue Devils team. He's got Virginia -3 versus Duke. I guess that ruins our college football guessing lines.
No, we're just not going to do that one. I ripped out my earpiece. I didn't. If you talked about anything else, I didn't hear it.
Well,
Duke I already saw though before someone else brought that one up.
I guess we can't bring up Kennesaw State versus Jacksonville State either.
I hope that one was planned to be left out. So
yeah, we're not going to use that one anyway. He's got Kennesaw State plus the 1.5 against Jacksonville State as well. College basketball today, Xavier laying the wood versus St. Francis, PA, laying 27.5 is Adam Burke on that one as well. All right. How you feeling about all this, Kelley, NFL-wise? This is just, we'll just repeat it again because this really is the topic sentence of all this. And I don't think I'm being prisoner of the moment. I think we started talking about this several weeks ago, and I think it's become more solidified. It was even more solidified in the AFC market to win the AFC last week when we saw 6 teams at 5-1 and plus 550. 6. There's only 7 that make the playoffs. So it's the literal definition of just no one has any idea. It's just a flat, even playing field. Here are a couple questions. Do you think the Chiefs are going to miss the playoffs?
Oh, man. It's not looking good right now. Probably.
Did you ever think in a million years before the season that was a possibility? By the way, just updating those numbers.
Probably.
Can we throw that up again, Danny? Just updating those numbers that we talked about. 6 teams, 5-1 to plus 550. Right now, a week later, the Bills and Broncos are both plus 425 to win the AFC. The Pats, who play tonight, are plus 450. Colts, Ravens, Chiefs have all drifted. Colts 6-1, Ravens 8-1, Chiefs 9-1. Jags 12-1. Chargers 20-1. I have no idea. Is there any of those teams? Do any of those inspire any confidence in you? There's not one that does for me.
No.
Completely flawed. What about the NFC? So the NFC, you do believe in the NFC. You still believe, despite the Rams' loss yesterday, that the Rams and the Seahawks are a cut above.
I believe they're a cut above the rest, yes.
Only because the Eagles look so adrift right now. And the Lions, I would never have thought before the season that the Lions could have been this much worse than they were last year. I know you could only go down after a 15-2 year.
On injuries. They've been dealing with it.
But the window, man, the Commanders blew them out at Detroit. I mean, was that the window shutting with all these injuries?
I don't know. They got time here.
They got time.
In the regular season, right?
They can still do it.
You got to make sure you get in, obviously.
But if you get in, beat the Cowboys on Thursday, first things first.
I mean, if you get in, they're still one of the scarier teams, not just the NFC and the NFL, period. But you add Amon-Ra St. Brown now to that injury list.
NFC, yeah. Rams plus 230 to win the NFC. Seahawks plus 370. Eagles, Packers both 5-1. And then Niners, Lions, and Bears 11-1, 15-1, and 16-1, respectively. Cowboys 35-1. You notice I skipped the Bucks at 19-1 because I don't even consider them. John Anson, Prop Points next. Enjoy from VSiN.